something for Katie, and I wasn't paying attention, and I was just like, whoop, with my finger, and it looked like a child opened it. I was like, oh. Yeah, I did that kind
Sometimes
of
you do act
bad.
like a child.
Do you have letter openers?
I do.
Oh.
Well, yeah, if you want me to take this, I'll
go grab it.
just to be the responsible party.
That will.
I guess I got stuff to say. I don't mean to be disrespectful. Yeah.
What's a good synonym? Take ownership of it right now, or I don't
Well, I
know.
mean,
Transfer the data. Be the carrier. Do the work. Do the legwork.
always.
Do the courier.
Every hat I wear.
Hey.
Did I see you pulled over on C-48? Just before we, were you on the phone or something?
Today?
Yeah, you're right traffic.
They're not cleaning the room.
Just like pulled over.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought maybe you, I was looking around, I thought maybe there was an eagle there and you were watching the
Oh,
eagle.
no.
I was like,
Skinny
oh,
pedal made it
must be
so.
the eagle.
Huh?
Skinny pedal made it so.
Ah. So you went from Traverse to Harbor
Remember
back?
it's Nessus.
I didn't go to Traverse
It's gotta
today.
be Nessus.
Oh, that's how you,
But
because I was like,
Harbor-
did you really
Herbert here.
Down at Lake Watch.
still?
Mission.
Is Mal working? So are you going after, like, you guys do pickup or is she doing pickup?
She's gonna pick up.
And they'll be-
You know how it is.
I do know how it is.
There's a couple on Essex.
You invited this guy?
There's a couple on Essex.
Hey, Don.
So I was required, the rest of the board,
Walk right by.
Greg tried to get out of it. I thought we were good. The rest of the board asked that I have him come in. That's the packet. I didn't give you guys that in the email. The stuff from Greg.
Oh, I got this. You did a whole book. You don't know.
I didn't email it though, sorry.
No, I would not have downloaded it if I had it on the computer, so. No harm, no foul.
That it's not worked for 30 years.
It was one of those things, Greg emailed me and asked if I needed anything, and I was like, yeah, I need a packet, or I need the book. Yeah, I'll make copies of the book, we're good.
Yep.
I'll make copies,
Okay.
Yeah,
we're good.
we don't need to file it on. I mean, I have them.
Not much has changed.
Not much has changed. It looks.
No.
Yeah, I don't need to know what color this was. It's beige. That's good. We're good.
Yeah, I'll keep
I
it
mean,
kind
I
of
can
metal.
do this.
No, again, I've got all the other ones.
Was anybody upset with you?
It was Dateline. I love Dateline and Who Killed Who. Might be a little weird. But I
So how
love,
was that last?
I love my Dateline shows. But it was a little bad because then one came out and Ryder was like, we already watched this.
We got one first.
Yeah. And your neighbor looks like he just listed his house.
Oh, again.
And it's like water everywhere.
He came up from Florida. I don't know. What is it? We didn't see him.
Yeah.
We didn't stay there.
Yeah, we had water in our basement. Like that. Since we put gutters up. Just coming out of this.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Wasn't that?
I'm still talking to Senator.
Do you want that public comment or?
So,
She's just gonna get through.
preoccupied
Update
with
from
the
Mike, or is she good?
Right? Just some data. It's almost water in their car.
That's fine. I just gotta run home because my kids are at home by themselves cleaning their room. So, I need to go home and make sure that's still
Did your
done.
kids actually clean their rooms?
Well, I threatened to go in there with a garbage bag. It's not clean when I got back. We'll see how well my, big mouth weighs.
He does. Ryder doesn't.
Riley.
I've given up on Ryder, just straight up. I'm not that giving up, but do something like that.
Okay, 3? No, wait. Yeah, 40, 25. Yeah, right.
Charlotte would use one.
Well, I'm also not turning the late
That's true. That is a fair trade.
What Charlotte Boy give you?
So actually, that seems like
Hope you pay.
a whole $30 on the registration.
They should. It's really hard to gather players.
And if you wear the jerseys out in public, yeah, you're right, you should get.
Doesn't it like an orthodontist, like if you wear
You do, you get a token.
Yeah.
If someone catches you, you get a token, so you can turn the token in. You
like
get so many
prizes.
tokens for prizes.
Yeah.
But they, yeah, but
Yeah.
they give you, at Schultz, but they give you good prizes, like gift cards to places in the area. The problem is you need like 30 tokens. And, you know,
Just
so that,
detracts from all the money you're spending.
so Kate had someone making fun of her braces.
Uh-oh.
So my daughter is very,
I actually, this is my daughter's birthday appointment.
this is what a $5,000 smile looks like, not that you'll ever know. She's 11.
And there's part of me that wants to like pat her on the back and say, you know what, good for you. So,
That's my 11-year-old.
I feel like I'm not really upset with her response. We started having to take, I wasn't sure at 7, and she's already been in the orthodontist for like a year. God help me.
Yeah.
Okay, so take this out.
You got a second mortgage for,
Yeah, that makes sense.
orthodontist.
Okay, so this is my question. Or the reason why I
I don't think you have to do that. I think you can just say that these two attorneys were interviewed with a series of questions. I don't think you have to go into detail. I think it's just board action. That he
So I can
introduced,
say that we need to.
yeah, he introduced who they were, questions were asked, interview was conducted, with the public present, and then the second person was introduced, and questions,
Because that's what I
the exact
got.
same questions were asked. Yeah, no, I don't think, it's not an instant replay.
That's the exact same.
Right.
So maybe I should have asked you both earlier, because that's why I haven't done anything with them, because I didn't want to listen to the 2 hours.
Ask away.
That's wrong.
No, I don't believe that required
Grade your road yet?
of a job.
Do you think that I need
Yeah. Just attach the money, just attach the blank ones.
Tom, I think you got it. I got an agenda already.
Oh, I gave you an agenda?
Yeah. Thank you.
Too many faces up here.
Here, you got some chairs.
I know. Just go. Oh, man, no, I'm sorry. It's okay. Welcome back. I gotta get rid of it.
Well, I guess.
Yeah, and we do that now. Nobody has to sign in. If they don't sign in, they don't speak, we don't know who they are. We don't have to write them. We don't know who they are. They don't sign in. That's on them. But no, maybe a third or a half, I recommend.
I know.
Life treating you all right? Life treating you all right? Life treating you all right?
Busy, buddy.
Yeah, busy.
Like everybody.
No pizza.
We're having pizza.
Should have.
It's on there. It's not in there. We are having pizza.
Oh, pizza, dump day.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, pizza one. Oh, I missed it.
All right, welcome everybody. I'm gonna call the meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance and a quick prayer. pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dear Lord and Heavenly Father, we thank you for another night to come here together to do the work of Banks Township. We thank you for all these people who have come to attend and participate in their local government. Lord, we ask for your wisdom as we discuss a few things tonight, and ask that you get everybody home safe tonight as well. All these things we ask in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, with that, I will open it up to public comment. Yes, sir.
Good evening.
How's it going?
Good. John Smalley, Lakeshore Drive. We've been here a number of times to discuss my favorite topic, and that is the condition of the road, the instability of the road, the lack of maintenance, and with the storm, which I know has hit many areas in northern Michigan, probably harder than it's hit in some areas here. We've had extensive damage on that road due to the storm. We had a couple of overflows in 2 areas, and prevented my 91-year-old neighbor from getting out and going to church on Sunday, the first Sunday afterwards, and we continue to struggle. It's hard to believe that I'm standing here talking about the road being in worse shape than it's been before, but it is. You can't go more than 3 miles an hour down that road. And my neighbor here's got some things to say about that piece as well. But I know you're all very aware of the condition of the road and the need for maintenance, repairs, frankly, just crowning the road, draining, and putting the right material on it. And you know, we've been talking about this for a long time. I think the storm has really put it over the top here, and I'm hopeful that we can get some form of supplemental funds from either the state, the county road commission, who is the appropriate entity to be funding this disaster, and continue to get the support from the township board here moving forward. And I may ask you guys to help with a form of communication to both the county road commission, the county commissioners, and our state legislative delegation to get some attention on this. I know they're talking about a $75 million emergency fund for northern Michigan and storm response, which is great. I know FEMA is also involved with a lot of this, and hopefully that brings some funds to repair the damage that's occurred. But during the interim here, you've got about just shy of 40 property owners that cannot easily get in and out of our dead-end road. It is, it's beyond a request at this point from my perspective. It's necessity and support, or I would ask for the support of this board moving forward with some speed to try to find a manner in which to repair the road. One of the things that we need to do is to get a cost analysis, to get an engineering firm out there to say, this is what it's going to take to make the road safe and passable. And that, I don't think that has occurred to this point in time. I know there's been some pushback back and forth with the county road commission on that, and they've kind of stymied our efforts there. But this is not just a Tom and John show anymore. This is community members that do not have access during emergency situations to get in and out of our homes. And I saw one of our deputy sheriffs in here today, and I know that we've got some EMS folks around. We're nervous. We're nervous. You know, my 91-year-old neighbor's a great guy, and he's got a mouth on him like a sailor, but he's still 91 years old and needs to be taken care of. You know, we all do. I don't care if you're 91 or you're 61. It's a public safety issue, and we've been kicking this can for years and years here, and this storm has just really been the straw that's broke the camel's back. And we are requesting your assistance at this point in time.
Is there still damage down there?
Well, actually, Tom and his wife and neighbors.
To the road, I'm asking specifically for the
There
road.
are,
I'm sure
there
there's
is,
homes that
yes,
have issues.
yes, yep,
Okay.
yep.
I didn't know that. Bert called me today and asked me if there was any, and I said, well, I wasn't aware, but I'm gonna ask
Yeah.
tonight for our meeting, so.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's a large lake where there never was one beforehand, before a couple weeks ago. And that S-curve where where the road failed and fell into Lake Michigan, that's where the river was flowing through.
Over top of that?
Over top of it, and prevented folks from getting out of the neighborhood.
All right. Well, thank you, John.
Thanks.
I have been talking to Senator Denoose and
Good.
his team, so.
Good.
We'll
They
see what
got
comes
it
of
pretty
all
hard
that.
up there, for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you all for your
Absolutely.
attention.
Thanks, John.
Mhm.
Tom?
I'll try and be brief. I'm Tom Richards on Lakeshore Drive. Some of you are familiar with this, some of you are newer to the board. But 2 years ago, there was a collapse of the cliff on the edge of Lakeshore Drive, which put the cliff at the very edge of the traveled roadway. The road was narrowed by the road commission to one lane for 2 months. Instead of a permanent fix, the Antrim County Road Commission moves the road slightly. Now the cliff is a few feet away from the traveled edge of the road. Later that year, the county creates what's called a disaster mitigation plan. And in that plan, it acknowledges that one, there's a risk of road failure cutting off residents on Lakeshore Drive because it's a dead-end dirt road with cliffs along the edge. That there's a risk of emergency services being unable to reach us in the case of an emergency like that. I learned about this and I asked the emergency service director, how will you reach us if another collapse happens and it's not quite as kind to us as the first one? I asked the fire chief, I asked the sheriff. They all came out, they looked at the situation, and they became very familiar with the problem, although I've heard no response until just recently when 5 months later, I get a 1-paragraph response by email from the emergency manager. We have a plan, but I can't share it with you. That's what his email said. I can't, because there might be sensitive information in that, I can't share it with you. So we're supposed to trust that when there's another road failure and fire trucks and ambulances can't get in, they have a plan, but they can't tell us. Since then, we've learned from an engineering expert that failures of the road are accelerated by the failure to properly maintain that road. There's no crown, no drainage, no hardening with the proper materials, which are standard practice for road commissions. And for any organization that's responsible for dirt roads, they will all tell you those things are basic requirements. This information was shared with the Antrim County Road Commission manager, that your failure to maintain the road is accelerating the possibility of a total failure of the road. No response. Weeks go by, no response from the Road Commission manager. This information was then shared with the Road Commission insurance pool about liability for a problem they knew was there and didn't do anything about. The head of the insurance pool was seemingly somewhat interested but disinterested. No response. So I'm hoping to hear that our elected representatives at this table are still working to help us, because we can't do this all on our own. And we're not going to, and hopefully you're not giving in to an irresponsible and defiant road commission manager. People are on the road are now talking openly about selling and moving, and the road is a prime motivation for them. They're just tired of it. It's been going on. I came to my first meeting here 9 years ago. Others have been bringing the problem for up to 20 years. So we've been working to be patient and constructive. So far, no results. We would prefer to continue in that path instead of some of the radical suggestions that we're getting from the road, including aggressive options that would certainly result in headaches and possibly regret. So I was surprised that after all this time, Lakeshore Drive wasn't on the agenda in some way, but I hope that we can get some kind of an update of what's happening and where, that something is still moving here. I just want to share, I've asked people to come to the road and experience it for themselves, but I want to share the experience we're having. That's off of a car that we prize. You know what it is, gentlemen. That's a mainspring. This is off of another vehicle that we just found on a walk down the road, which is very treacherous too, even walking the road right now. But the people are, this cost me $800 to fix. And I don't know how many other pieces we haven't found yet, but it's real. So, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, real quick, I'm sorry. This week, GFL, our trash collector, said this is the worst road we have here, and every week I come out here, I've got to put 2 extra wheels on the truck to get through the road. That was concerning, but not as concerning as our friends at Ellsworth Farmer Exchange, the guy who's carrying explosives, gas on his vehicle, going 2 miles an hour trying not to shake up his load. I mean, we're getting that basic services we are struggling with. So, I'm done. Thank you.
You want to speak about Lakeshore Drive, Darrell?
It depends on which hat you want me to represent. Now, on the Ellsworth Farmers Exchange side of it, I was just down there during the storm. I was going door to door, making sure everyone's generators were functioning properly. We did on the fire department side of it, we did have a leak down there. Come to find out it wasn't an actual leak, what it was is the generator ran the propane tank empty. It was isolated, it was taken care of. I will say though that I've been down that road multiple times in the big trucks. Obviously we do our due diligence to go at slow speeds and try to avoid the potholes, because every time you hit a pothole, you throw out some more material. I know that road needs a lot of assistance. I firmly believe it needs to go back to the road commission, because if they own it, someone there needs to step up to the plate and make sure it's addressed. If the township doesn't own that road commission needs to own up to something. And now granted, I didn't like going down there and having my pens and stuff vibrating everywhere, but it did have a lot of washout from the stuff going from the one side of the road going
Swamp
across.
to the lake.
Yeah, and it was never designed to have that much water flow anyways, so that goes with the drainage and whatnot. I'm just a dumb steering wheel holder in this incident, so I'm not gonna sit here and tell you how to make a road. But as far as the emergency response side of things, I will assure you 110%, if anything was to ever happen in that area, we will get you one way or the other. I don't care if I gotta call Dylan Summer and be like, hey, I'm confiscating your truck, you're bringing sand, we're making roads, no matter what, something. If we gotta cut trees down to get in there, we will. If we gotta come in from the south side, go north, we will. And that's one of those things, I understand somebody has a plan, but what we do is, we have a plan to follow, but worst case scenario, if we have to step up and go outside of that plan, we will make sure our community is in our best interest. So if there's ever an incident there, and I'm just the captain right now, and I guarantee I'll speak for the chief and anyone else down there, if something was a major issue, we will get you one way, shape, or form. We'll do whatever we have to do, and that's just, we've done it, never on a mass casualty situation, because we're fortunate to live where we live, but we have the capabilities and the knowledge and the resources in this wonderful area that we can make it happen. If I called Dylan at, I don't remember what time of night it was, but we had a tree down blocking, and it was way too big for us to move. I said, hey Dylan, sorry to wake you up, is there a chance you might go get your loader out here and help us out? And he showed up with his loader and pushed it all off the road, and I said, do you want me to send you a bill or something? He said, don't worry about it, you know. We have resources in this community. If things were to ever get bad, they will step up to help out. So just as a peace of mind, if anything ever happened, I guarantee you, you will be taken care of in one way, shape, or form. We will get to you no matter what happens. I don't care if I gotta call in the National Guard and have them land a chopper somewhere. You know, something's gonna happen. So just as a peace of mind there. But as far as the road goes, I wish I had the knowledge and the ability to go after the road commission in the sense of, hey, what's it gonna take? Because I mean, no disrespect, I don't like coming to these meetings, it's always the same, it's like we're beating a dead horse with the situation. And, now granted, I don't like going down and tearing up fire trucks, we just got the one back, and we got all the equipment on there, and it still is bouncing stuff around too. So, whether they go out there, add more material, figure out the drainage, whatever, but I think ultimately, they are responsible because they own that road. We've determined this how many meetings ago, but as far as the driving the bomb and everything else, I mean, maybe it's just because I do it every day. Those trucks are designed to take a lot of heat and impact, but we do our due diligence and not break. Biggest thing is breaking stuff on the truck. That is the biggest issue. So when we go down through there, there's no fear of us doing any damage or making explosions or anything like that, just because of peace of mind. But yeah, that's, hopefully I brought a little bit of light to that, just
So,
peace of mind, I hope, I'm sorry, but.
yeah. As far as that road goes, we've tried to work with the road commission, and it is not wide enough, according to the Antrim County Road Commission, to crown it. So we have offered up, we have gotten bids from Reith Riley and Summer Solutions to put more material on the road and crown it at about $100,000 for Headstone. And I feel that would be a waste of taxpayer dollars, because winter is gonna come around and they're gonna kill the crown and we'll be right back at square one and we just lost $100,000. So I think that's a waste. Honestly, if you guys want that road fixed, there's a couple things. To go around the place where the cliff went down, or where the cliff broke off, the road commission had a plan. They said, well, what we can do is we can go behind these homes and put a road in and then connect back where it's further back from the shoreline. And the first homeowner there, landowner, said no. And so now you're in an eminent domain situation. And I know people around here don't like that. And nobody likes eminent domain, where the government's just gonna come and take your stuff and say you don't have a voice in the matter over a potential threat. I mean, we're still talking about potential things here. So anyway, that was one of the people on the road. Admittedly, they have the least distance to drive to the paved portion. I totally admit that, but that's where we're at. I'm open to ideas, but I think that road needs to be widened, and your neighbors do not want that. So if you want a crown, you need it widened by this road commission, or you can go fight them and try to get them to do it. Good luck.
You're repeating some of the excuses that we've heard over and over again. The width of that road is a function of the road commission.
No, this is it's a reality, Tom. These are not excuses. They have the equipment that they have, and they have the ability that they have. I am not a driver, therefore I have to take their word for it.
So you're telling us they need a piece of equipment that will do it, or to hire someone who has that piece of equipment. They're not limited to, here's what you've got and you can only work. Nowhere in the state law does it say roads must be kept safe and reliable unless you don't have the right equipment. It doesn't say that.
Define safe and reliable.
Well, it's probably been defined in the courts on a regular basis, and
Well,
if it
I don't
has to
have
be,
that definition.
We can pursue that too.
There's never been an accident on that road that I'm aware of.
There has. Dr. Lane.
Like going over the edge, which is one
Not
of the
over the
complaints.
edge, no.
But somebody went off the
Well, when
road
you have
or,
to serpentine through that, through the potholes there,
okay.
so
I mean,
there has
so-
been an accident.
So the speed was above what was reasonable for the conditions, which is the speed law in Michigan.
So can we get a sign that says 3 miles an hour?
Sure. Why don't you just put one up yourself? You can buy them on Amazon.
No, I'm,
I mean, it just,
no,
My concern, though, is that we're justifying their excuses. The width of the road is something that the road commission has responsibility over. To make it wide enough so they can take care of it, or to acquire or somehow get the proper equipment there so they can take care of it. This business of it's too narrow and we don't have a this or that, you know, your dentist isn't gonna tell you, I can't fix your tooth because I don't have the right whatever it is. They're
yeah, they will.
people,
They absolutely will, and they'll say, go to the endodontist
but
up
they
at
have the
Petoskey.
responsibility over the width of the road, the maintenance of that road, and it's not an excuse that it doesn't align well with the equipment that we have.
and they could use the Charlevoix County Road Commission, machine that they've got that they use on their narrow dirt roads.
Or a contractor, or whatever. There's lots of people that can do that, but,
But again, it comes back to, they're gonna plow it and wipe the crown right out.
well, only if we let them.
Right.
How are you gonna stop that?
You have to have a road
Listen,
commission.
we're gonna go round and
that
round and
follows
round
some
on
kind of a standard.
We cannot help you except to spend money, of the township's money, to increase the width of that road and develop it further. That's it. And we've got bids on the table for $100,000 to do that, but they will not hold up, and that's why nobody's brought a motion to do them. And so, if we wanna widen the road, I can get a quote from the road commission to do that, if the board wants me to, but, I'm happy to talk to Bert and get that. But other than that, it is the county's road, plain and simple. We have no bearing on that road at all, except to improve it.
Is this the way that all of the board feels?
It isn't a matter of feeling, it's a matter of fact. The road commission has jurisdiction on
I
the
know.
road, and they give the specifications on how it can be fixed. And we either follow their specifications and they do it, or it doesn't get done.
Are you willing to fight for us?
In what way? Like, what do you want? I talked to Bert and I've talked to Pete, I talk to those guys all the time about your road. I didn't know that you had a lake in there, nobody gave me that
It's
information,
fine.
and I don't drive your road. Nobody in this township drives your road except you
Please
guys.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but why would I? Other than to go check it out, I don't drive Brown Road, right? Pick a road, I drive Atwood Road, that's what I live on, and.
If you're paying to improve roads, before you pay for another one, please check out Lake Shore Drive again.
I have a question.
Yes,
I live on Essex Road. Do you drive Essex Road?
I've driven Essex.
It's
Road.
awful. There's no
Yeah.
shoulder, it's falling apart.
Terrible.
Yeah.
It's
No, no.
awful.
Terrible.
And how many people drive Essex Road every day?
Yeah.
So that's a really hard for a road that everybody drives, or a lot of people drive, versus a dead-end road. So for that, I'm to vote to fix a dead-end road, or a road that everybody drives. What would you do if you were me? What would you vote for?
I'd work
And
with
take your feelings out of
I'd
it,
work to
because,
find a solution.
well, we can't fix everything at once.
Fix them both.
Can't fix it all at once.
That's not at all.
If
That's
$3 million drops in our lap, maybe we can do that.
deal.
We'll see.
So I live on a dead-end road, and it needed repair, and the road commission said they could do it to their specs, and I requested that they do a better job than that, and through the township board, the road commission, township board, I don't remember all the intricacies, but any improvement above and beyond the road commission specifications we split the difference, and I had to pay half of it. Same thing they did at Primor Road, and same thing that happened on another road.
And your road too, right, Richard? Didn't you pay to have that pavement extended?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
just,
We
You know,
could
at
probably
least-
do that, we can get a majority of people to do that.
Or another option, maybe if we fixed it, not to county specs, how about you guys, with all those property owners, you have it privately plowed and privately maintained, and we'll keep, there must be a way we could just get the county to leave it alone.
You can abandon a road.
Yeah,
The
it's
county-
been suggested that we abandon the road. I've
Make it a
never heard
private road.
government officials say, we're gonna abandon you, but, okay, I understand it's a term of art or within the law.
It's a terminology,
No, I
abandon
understand.
means hand it back to the property owners.
It's not a county road then.
Understood?
Yeah, I think you have a real safety concern. And it's been, like you said, 20 years of that road continuing to deteriorate and get worse and worse and worse. And I think this is the worst it's ever gotten with that cliff. I don't know what the solution is. I do know there is a lot of taxable value on that road. They contribute a huge amount to the bottom line of the road fund, probably equivalent to what the village does, if you look at it that way. Yeah, I don't know, Tom, we had this conversation, like, we get so far and it just falls apart. And just, we get so far and we get these quotes and we get these bids and we have good discussion and it falls apart. I don't know what that missing component is, where we just can't bridge that gap between the need.
It's one person.
The need and the getting it done, because it is, it's a hazard, that road is a hazard.
Getting a proposal from a contractor is not the same as getting bids, coming up with a spec.
they were bids
Well, but.
to do the work.
But they're not for the same thing. They're not going by this much material crowned to this and with this kind of surface and so forth. You know, bids equal, you've got a plan, you've got a spec, and you go get bids like the road commission does all the time, and then they can't stand in the way of it. They can't tell, well, I don't like that contractor, and so I'm not gonna accept that one because of liability concerns or something like that. There's a
I think
process
they-
that
I think
that
they
gets
can. I
followed
think
here to make
it's-
sure this happens
I
properly.
think it's state law that the road
Let's not give up,
commission's the only
please.
ones that can fix a road.
They are, they
Yeah.
have 100% control of the road, and when they said, no, you can't do that,
Right.
I'm stuck. I
You
mean,
know, they're gonna throw obstructions in front of anything that we propose, and we just need your help as our elected representatives to help go to bat for us instead of,
I don't know what else, my point is, Tom, I don't know what else to do.
Well-
I've been to how many road commission meetings on my own dime, taking multiple hours out of my actual work and taking PTO for that. I've driven down there again on my own dime for mileage. I don't even charge the township for that. I don't know what else to do. I've talked to Pete, I've talked to Kevin. I guess I didn't personally talk to Dieter about it, but I have talked to both of them about it. I've gone to bat for you many times, and the road commission feels that the road's okay. And so until you can convince them otherwise, we're stuck. I don't know how much else I can do to move that football down the field for you. I really don't. I'm open to ears. I'm all ears. I've come up with different out-of-the-box solutions, like the customized maintenance, and just, they're the purple people eaters. I can't get past them.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
not-
and you know what, this board has been helpful. I should have started the comments by saying that. And you're hearing frustration.
I get it. I do.
You're
I really
hearing
understand your
frustrated.
position.
And the people that have to sit here every month and listen to us, I guess I'm sorry that you have to listen to us, but.
I'm sorry you have a road like that.
Yeah, well, I think there are some solutions out there, and what I'd like to do, Alex, is sit down with you maybe in the next day or two after work and
Sure.
come up with some ideas where we might be able to get some traction.
Okay.
Just one question. Has this kind of public outrage from the landowners, property owners, been expressed at a road commission meeting?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They've been down there many times
Because
with
that,
multiple
again,
people.
to me, that seems like the appropriate venue for this.
It is.
Since your hands are tied, you can't do anything about it anyway, without spending, going off the books. So, that's all I have to say.
So, can I ask Tom, so does Charlevoix plow that section, the whole, okay, Charlevoix, well, and what you want us to do is you want us to show this kind of like aggression to the county road commission, is that what you want to see, like the
Absolutely.
fight, you
You know,
wanna see
it's-
us go pit bull on the road commission,
The-
on
the
your
road
behalf?
commission
Yeah,
is-
okay, that's the message I'm getting, okay.
The road commission is expert at finding excuses why nothing can be done.
Okay.
What they've refused to do is find a pathway to get something done. It's always too narrow, we can't afford it, not enough traffic, too much traffic, high speeds, all of these, they're warehouse full of excuses as to why nothing can be done, so nothing gets done. And in the meantime, their maintenance of the road doesn't adhere to any standard whatsoever. It adheres to do the least you can to make the road look good for a little while.
I would recommend that you guys work with Pete, Kevin, Dieter, whatever, one-on-one, because you can't meet with two of them, it's a special meeting for them. But work with them one-on-one and try to come to a middle ground as to what is acceptable to you as people who drive this road and what they think they can accomplish at the road commission. I don't think you guys are in the same place, and the reason I say that is because we had a meeting about a year ago, and I had two of you guys, not, John wasn't here, but Tom and, not Steve,
Not done.
Don Miles were here, and I asked both of you to grade the road, 1 to 10, and Tom was like a 3, and Don's at a 7, and I think it's an 8. So, I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, we have to come to a middle ground of what is reasonable. I mean, we're not paving it. We've all talked about that ad nauseum. It's gonna be way too much money and not hold up. So, below paving, what is reasonable? Where can we find a middle ground? I would recommend that you go to those guys and try to work it out with them. And if I can help you along, I will. So,
Thank you.
Just a quick on that, so
you promise?
Yeah.
It's after 6:30. Okay.
So a lot of the roads I've been down with the propane truck that are similar to what yours is, the privately owned ones have been by far the best ones, cause they can go ahead and say, all right, it's getting potholed. We go ahead, they have their personal contract, whatever, go and grade it out, whatever. Those are always by far the better maintained ones than the county ones. So, in my opinion, if you can figure out a way to have the county give it up and then figure out somebody to do whatever, I mean, that might just be a better bet, so you got us moving.
We're looking into it.
So, just food for thought.
It would certainly make the road commission happy.
It probably would. All right. Any other public comment? Any other topic?
I don't, go ahead, you go.
I will be brief. Bethany Cooper, I'm here representing the Parks and Rec from the village, specifically in this aspect, Little League. But I wanted to give the township, I wanted to say thank you for your generous contribution to our program and give you a little bit of an update of what's happening down in my neck of the woods. So we have been working on sponsorships, which we've not not done previously. And we've gotten a huge positive response from a lot of our small town businesses who are really just like the heart of our community and helping support this program with their kids and watching it grow. And it is growing, which is super exciting. We are partnering with Central Lake so that way our children are being kept in the right level of play that they need to be, whether it's a 7, 8-year-old league, 9 and 10, 11 and 12. Prior to this, we'd always moved them up to make a team, but in partnering with our neighbors, we now have a full array of teams for our kids to play on. And we're looking at doing all sorts of events in the future. But we still do have a long way to go. Our children it's a safety issue. Our children need all brand new helmets. For concussionary reasons, we don't want to, go into that. They need all brand new helmets, every single team does. We need brand new catcher's equipment to keep our girls and our boys safe. So we're well on our way, and our fields need some upgrades, some maintenance issues, but like I said, we are well on our way. I want to say thank you once again to the township. I will be coming to the village shortly with prices for all of these things. If you own a business, I've been making my way around, so please consider just contributing. Every little bit helps, but we're looking good, full speed ahead, so thank you very much.
Thanks, Beth.
Yep.
Other public comment? Dave or you?
I'll be quick too. Our fire department for years has been very stagnant, and average age of our firemen is around 70 years old. And through Daryl's help and some of the other guys on the team, our recruitment has improved. New guys are interested in getting on the fire department, replacing some of our older gentlemen. And then you guys reduced the pay of the new recruits, which, talking to Daryl, it seemed like there was an agreement and there was some drive to push them for advancement. I know from being on this board, there's a laundry list of things that fire department needs. There's a lot of wants, but a lot of needs. Last month, you went from 1.1 to 1 mil, approved that millage. It was an incremental amount as far as a taxpayer, but brought in quite a bit of money for these things that we need. I never heard anyone down here saying that the taxes are too high, and certainly the fire tax or the fire millage is too much. These guys are underpaid from a recruit on up to the chief. They aren't there for the money. We're very lucky to have them, and I wish you guys would have reconsidered that millage drop, and especially the reduction in pay. So when it comes around again, think about how valuable our fire department is and how hard Daryl has worked to get those new guys and on the team and trying to recruit new guys. Someone that has experienced a structure fire, I hope that none of you have to experience that, especially experience it and have an underfunded fire department to show up and take care of it. So, thank you.
Thanks, Dave. You may go now.
I'll be quick too, back to parks. I'm the new Antrim County Parks Director, and I haven't had a chance to get over here yet and introduce myself, so I wanted to. You guys have, I can't get my fingers to work, I'm just gonna do two. You guys have Antrim Creek Natural Area in your township. I think you got two also. And so I just wanted to keep you apprised of what's going on. We're working on the schoolhouse project. We have the Antrim City Schoolhouse, historical schoolhouse, that we want to renovate, save the structure. It's in very deplorable shape right now, and turn it into like an education meeting area for different recreation meetings, like hunting groups and scouts or anybody that would want to use it, and then have like a educational aspect with the history and about natural landforms and all of that. So that's the idea for that. We did push it back a year. We were going to start looking for grants this year, but we need to raise, the Friends Group is going to be working on raising money for the matching, so we can write a grant and have a match. So look for them to be around hopefully and trying to drum up some support. And then the other thing that you should be aware of is that Antrim County's Parks and Recreation Plan expires this year. So I'm working on redoing it, and so we're going to be sending out like different surveys and stuff for the community to see what the community wants, needs, what they like and don't like about what is going on in our park system. So does anybody have any questions?
Who's doing that plan for you?
I am.
But, all right. How much do you charge? Because Brecken Rader's a lot.
I know. Well, you know, that's what I asked Jeremy. I said, "Who's doing this plan?" He's like, "You are." I'm like, "Oh, great." That's right. I'm doing it. That's
good for you.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thanks. And you have my information if you ever need to contact me about anything.
Yeah. Wonderful. Appreciate it. Anybody else? Julie.
Julie Waterman, Banks Township. I didn't see the draft minutes for the special meeting out front or on the website. Did I not see them somewhere?
I don't have to have them done until Thursday.
Yeah, she doesn't have them done yet.
I
She
don't
had a
have them
question
done
about them. So we will
They're
approve
due
them at the May
Thursday.
meeting.
He put it on here thinking I was.
That's why I was like,
Yeah,
In and
that
out.
was my mistake.
Yeah, apparently he thought I was faster than what I am.
My apologies for the
No, now I see,
confusion
now
there.
I can see.
Yeah,
it.
that's,
Any other public comment tonight? Yes, sir.
Is Restroom Road a county road or a township road?
They're all, every road is a county road, period, unless it's a private.
Responsible for 'em?
We paid to improve it, but we are not actually responsible for any road in this county or township.
And I was wondering if you were happy with what you paid for on that.
Well, that's another story. I mean, that's a different story. Admittedly, like Lake Shore, I don't drive Russian very often. I usually end up on 31 down to 88 to go to Central Lake. So I drive it once in a while. I don't know. I didn't think it was bad, but
It's awful.
okay.
Well, it's cracking already.
Oh, well, that's bad.
And I'm also concerned about Essex Road. If we're gonna repave that, and hopefully we'll get somebody to do a better job of it, so it lasts a little longer, or maybe it's got a warranty with it.
That'd be nice. That'd be nice. Essex Road's a $2 million project at least right
Oh,
now.
I'm sure it is.
Which we obviously don't have. We did ask for the taxpayers for a 2 mil road millage last year. No, but we knew when we did that could not touch Essex Road. I mean, it just won't. It won't do a dent. I mean, we could do chunks of it. Pick one. Which one's the worst one, right?
Well,
I mean,
somebody's done that already, cause you can see where they did a part of it and then they stopped. And evidently they never came back to do any more, but.
well, the corner, they paved the corner. Is that what you're talking about at Essex? That 90-degree corner
Yeah.
before Church Road? Yeah. Yeah, they fixed that up because that was in really bad shape. I don't know why, that particular spot was that bad. I don't know. I don't even know if I was around here at that
Do we
point.
pay them to patch it too?
They do that on their own dime. That is all, every patchwork and, all the maintenance that gets done is done on the, county's dime.
Okay, no wonder they don't look the same. They patched it, but boy, they didn't do a very good job.
Yeah, it needs work. There's no doubt about it. I know that both our, Representative Roth and, Senator DeMoose both have it high on their list of things that they wanna get done, in the appropriations process that they're working through with the governor right now. What that results in, I don't know, but I know that they're working on it. I have talked to Senator DeMoose a couple times about it, and Representative Roth, and
she knows.
that's what I know. I know they wanna get it done, but whether or not it'll happen is another story.
Supervisor, could the gentleman
Yes.
identify himself? So we
Oh,
know
yeah.
who
I'm Ken Rosier.
it's-
Oh, all right, there you go. Appreciate that. Any other public comment?
Pretty sure? Can I stand?
Yes, ma'am, if you want to.
Okay.
Your
Hi,
call.
I'm Sally Franzik. I live on Old Dixie Highway. It's my first meeting. I'm here really just to try to find out information regarding a build development process that's going up in Fox Mission, is what it's called there.
Mm.
The natural stream and the wildlife there has been altered. So there was an EPA filed about a year ago. It looks like the build process up there has stopped, but we can't seem to get any information on what's happening. The hill had been clear cut and destroyed. They were supposed to put the road, take the road back out, right?
Well, the road wasn't ever supposed to be made any bigger than it has been, and it's been made much bigger, much more destruction to the, wetlands. I mean, they've totally destroyed the wetlands. He brought fill down from his basement dig to fill in the wetlands, and we're talking our historical Dwyer Creek. He has destroyed it. And we filed a report with EPA, and, yeah.
And there's flooding now that's occurring too on Old Dixie just from all of that build that's going on. So we're just not sure where to raise our concern, and we've had people out there to inspect, and
Yeah, it's a good question, but Eagle has the biggest hammer. I mean,
They came out,
They've been out there.
they
doing
came
it.
out, they did, measuring and they investigated it thoroughly. They put a stop notice sign up and he tore that down and continued on. And, yeah, nobody goes in there to, we just wanna know what the heck is going on, because they have totally destroyed Wire Creek. And that is a watershed to Lake Michigan. I mean, this is a historical watershed they've destroyed. And
And there's more, I mean, there's a whole plethora of things that have been occurring because of that, so, and it looks like it stopped for now, but I don't know if that was just for the winter.
but they're not putting it back either. Right?
So, yeah, I don't see anything of that happening.
that needs to be, yeah, the wetlands need to be replenished. They need to be restored back to their natural habitat.
Okay.
And I say what goes up can come down, and that house doesn't even need to exist. If he's gonna, you know, it's like, they let this public development go in up there. I mean, we fought it as a neighborhood. We were canvassed, and, we did not want it. It was not ever supposed to be developed back there. And now they're doing it, and they're going way out of, I've got all the paperwork from
We're just trying to figure out the proper way
Yeah,
to
I'd be happy to look at with you. I mean,
bundle that up.
off the hip here, Eagle is your best bet, as far as the wetlands go, anyway. I mean,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now-
Although at the same time, I've always been afraid of, you know, the Department of Environmental Quality my whole life, and then
Yeah.
I come across this stuff, and like, yeah, nothing happens, so it depends on who you are, I guess. And-
Yeah.
But then you put the riprap or, big heavy rocks in front of your place out on Lakeshore Drive without the right permit, and they're gonna come after you, so cause I get those letters too, so I don't know what they're doing over there, I really don't. I would encourage you to keep going after Eagle and trying to get some help from them. They're gonna be your best bet, but I'm happy to talk with you guys after the meeting or some other time. Give me a call. I'm happy to go look at it with you.
Thank you very much.
Yep, no problem. Any other public comment? Yes, sir.
Keep it short, maybe 3 minutes, maybe not. One, I wanna say,
Your name?
the spring cleanup, you did a safety policy, thank you. I had an experience a few years ago where cable came loose and almost caught me and the other guy in the head, probably would've killed us.
Mm.
You know, I kinda realized I maybe shouldn't be out of my car, stand right there. No, so thank you.
Yeah.
It means a lot. The flyer had information about the library. I really appreciate that, cause I've taken Cub Scouts, I've taken Girl Scouts, I've taken Boy Scouts, I've taken my kids to Charlevoix Library. I've lived in Ellsworth only maybe 22 years. And it's made it possible for me to enjoy that library with kids that didn't have internet. I mean, it's just awesome that we have some funding for that, and I loved seeing it on the flyer, I appreciate that. Let's see here. And then, as far as, at the last meeting, I left early, and Mr. Rubin made a comment that there were drag queens at the library. That was a lie, and I'm just asking that you don't lie to the community, simple as that. And then, also towards the middle of that meeting, I think that was the budget meeting, and you got rid of like 0.1 mil. And then it brought up, like a joke from Mr. Frisky that we could do 10 mil, and you were joking about it. Joking about something like that is totally.
Oh, I've made that joke before.
Huh?
I've made that joke before.
Well, I
It's
wasn't
terrifying, cause.
Yeah, and I appreciate you guys keeping it at 1.1 or 1 point, it's
Yeah,
just
we
not a
lowered
joking
it.
matter. In a meeting, you joked about it?
Yeah, I've joked about that many times, that it
If I saw you saying it, I'd come to you too and say, please don't joke about it. It's not a joking matter.
the joke about it is the fact that it is so terrifyingly high, that a board can do that without any,
That's fine. This is public comment. You don't
Yeah.
even need to comment.
Okay, fair
It's
enough.
completely
I'm just
fine.
responding to you. I mean,
You don't need to.
okay.
That's
As
all.
you wish.
So,
Mr. Frisky didn't realize that it could be raised to 10 mils.
I know that. And
Yeah, I don't recall joking
It's
about.
on video. You don't have to recall.
Yeah, I didn't know I was making a joke.
Anyway,
Yeah.
all right, moving on. On to the next thing, approval of the minutes. There's no more public comment, right? Anybody else want to talk? Okay. Approval of minutes. I'm sorry, I apologize, I gotta back up. Greg needs to talk.
You want me to go down or
Yeah,
you?
go ahead, Greg.
All right, sit here then, or do you want me
Yeah,
to
you're
stand?
fine, you can sit.
All right. Greg Burrows of High Street Insurance. I do the property and casualty insurance for the township, have for a number of years. Always appreciated working with you guys board, a couple of new faces over this time last year. So we recently had the renewal period. We sat down with the clerk, is what we've always done in the past, for a one-on-one to kind of go through, highlight the big changes, but also go through front to back in a summary manner for each line. So from a time standpoint tonight, I can kind of hit on as much or as little as you guys would like for the in-depth, or we can just kind of keep it 30,000 foot view, and I can hit on the major lines if you'd like. Overall, the industry for municipalities is averaging about 8 to 10% for just a rate aspect on premium. I'm going to start there first because that's what usually everyone's always looking at, as the budgetary item, right? We're right around an 8.5% difference from this time last year, minus any exposure difference, and that is including the exposure difference too. So we're a little ahead of the curve in what you're typically seeing out there right now. The part that is an exposure basis is off the budgetary items for liability, general liability, public officials, employment practices, on down that list. Budgetary items are higher rate from liability piece. The other part is property. They do an inflation guard on the overall value. So our value from this time last year is about a 4% value increase, just to try to keep pace with the inflationary item. So one of the items that we kind of talked about in this meeting is the same one in the past, is trying to get rid of that margin clause, so we have the full capacity of our blanket limit, and getting rid of the co-insurance. We need to increase the fire barn by, I think they're like 500 and some odd thousand, for a total limit where we're at in the fours right now, to get underwriting comfortable to remove the margin clause. So the margin clause, you have a blanket, and let's say it's, I'm going to use some rough numbers, right? Let's say you have like a limit of 10 million. The margin clause is going to limit you to that limit for that specific location plus 20% of the total blanket limit available. If you get rid of the margin clause, you have a full blanket limit, but they want you to insure close to value. What they're basically saying right now is we're not insuring to what value would be if we had to rebuild the fire department with current standards of ordinance and law. To do that, it's going to be about a $200 and some odd dollar increase to do that for the year. $202 actually. They want it raised to $582,000 from where we're at right now of.
For the fire department?
Yeah,
Yep.
which fire barn are we talking about? Ellsworth or Atwood?
Ellsworth.
Ellsworth Fire Barn.
6502 Center Street.
6502, yeah. Just 6520.
So we're at 400 and just, I'm gonna round up, say 460,000. To get rid of the margin clause, it's about $202 for the year. It is something that I highly recommend, but always conscious of budgetary items. The other bigger items right now that I would recommend too is having discussion with your fire chief, those on the fire board, because apparatuses are so much more than what they were this time last year and comparable in the last 5 years, is making sure that we're at an adequate limit that you guys are comfortable with. It might not be enough for a brand new unit, but at least get something comparable to what you have, or maybe something a little newer. So if you go to the auto section under there, the vast majority of those autos are going to be on a replacement cost basis. Now the replacement cost basis is up to the limit prescribed that you guys tell us to set it at. That's a glass ceiling. So if we put a unit at say 255,000, that thing gets totaled for some unforeseen reason, and we're trying to get a replacement unit, and whatever that replacement unit costs, that's the total limit that you're going to have available. So you can buy up on that, or you can leave it where it's at. But that's one thing I'm bringing to everyone's attention, because this time last year with some of our townships, they were looking at replacing a new unit. The sales guy at that time wasn't trying to push them to making a commitment, but he was basically saying at that time, like, hey, we only have 4 chassis left of the 2024. If we go to a 25, it's going to be an $80,000 difference just for the chassis. So this is a conversation, and it's not like you have to make a decision today. You can have that be a forward action item, but circle back or at least be aware of. I just want you to have eyes on that, pick where you guys want it to be, because that way, if something does happen, it doesn't have a grumpy conversation because we're at this and you need this, right? That's the bigger piece. Outside of that is just limit of liability. We have the umbrella that sits over, and I've always been saying, as long as you're within a certain range of 3 to 5 million, if you have a fire, police, or EMS, 3 to 5 is pretty good for northern Michigan. $1 million doesn't go as far as it used to. I would say, like, there's a consideration there. You might want to look at those limits and see if that's something that the township is comfortable with. But I've been saying 3 to 5 now for almost 20 years. So it's a hard item to tell because you're always looking at a crystal ball, how much is enough until after the fact.
Yeah, exactly.
From a high level piece, the liability, the policies, the terms, the coverage, it's all the exact same as what we've had last year, minus those property and equipment limits is the bigger items I would say to look at.
The air packs and the air compressor are not figured into anything yet either.
Okay. Nope, so if you can take a truck and shake it upside down, all the stuff that's gonna fall out, that's your mobile equipment. And the limit that we have on that, for granted, unless it's all in the fire barn at the time that a loss and it grabs everything, that could be a thing. But the equipment, if you go to page 19, there's a total limit of 160,000 for that miscellaneous stuff. Hoses, air packs, turnout gear, but now that's not typically all in one place at one time, right? It's usually distributed over a number of trucks and or different fire barns. And that's the stuff that usually leaves the facility. So if it's, so on the truck or at the station, so that's contents, and that's a different thing.
It's building contents. So because the building contents is only at 216,000, is it at this fire hall?
Yes.
Building contents is only at 216,000.
So where's that new air?
It's down here.
It's mounted down at the.
Yeah.
outdoor station.
So I had already, I had talked to Mark about it, and he said, so maybe you can help, because he said it was up to the board's decision on what to set things at for value. As for even the trucks, all the different trucks down there, I asked him.
I mean, just me, I can tell you right now that we'd never be able to replace everything that's in there for that now.
What do you think's more appropriate, 400? What do you think's appropriate
I
for
would
the?
probably, if I had just crap shoot, I would say probably 400 at least.
For the contents of the building?
At least, yeah.
Not including, well, so take out the apparatus,
No, I'm talking just the stuff that's fixated to the inside.
that's always there, that never really leaves.
Yeah, let's say we take all that trucks outside with their rolling stock and their equipment.
Yep.
We have just an open barn, yeah.
Then that would fall, yeah, that's your content.
I would have to say that'd be somewhat of a fair number, like I said, just spitballing.
What did you just spend, like 130,000? What did you just spend?
No, so building is listed as its own, contents is listed as its own, each individual auto plated is listed as its own, and then you had the stuff that will typically be within a truck or on a body that can leave, that's your mobile equipment. So once contents, that stuff that was in a building gets 1,000 feet beyond the building, that's where they draw the line as far as being contents or mobile equipment.
What page is the mobile equipment on?
That's 19.
So that's this. This is the fire hall, and there's both fire halls and the contents.
Didn't we just do this last year also? We just kinda bumped everything up?
Every year.
Yeah, we look at it every year, because honestly, we used to keep inflation guard at bay post 2020. Now, I mean, I don't dare take inflation guard off just for what it costs.
Yeah,
And sometimes I don't even know if that's enough, to be honest with you, because a lot of, depending the carrier, some of them set it at 4%, some might actually go towards the higher end of like 8%, but still depending on the year and what the item is, that might be a little under, it might be pretty close. It's just meant to try to keep pace with what the current cost of things are right now.
Yeah, cause, just looking at the vehicle schedules on page 13, looking at the, item 3 and 4, you're not gonna come anywhere near replacing those for $375 for one.
You might not go brand new, and that's where the discussion is, to look at these values, and then if you guys want to look at in specific units and say, hey, you know, this one here is listed at 255, let's bump that to 500. We already have the rate sheets from underwriting, and I can do some quick math and tell you like, hey, the cost differential for this specific unit is this, and then you guys can start picking what you want to do, if anything.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'd be willing to sit down with you guys if need be, or Mark, or I'm sure we could sit down and kind of go through all this stuff, but yeah, I think just even looking at just random stuff I've seen online for sale, it'd be, for what they're asking, you're not gonna get anything worth a darn anyways, for getting something equivalent to what we have or close to it, not new obviously, but.
And that's the balance act, right?
Right,
There's
right.
cost to everything on the insurance piece, but then too, if something does happen, we don't want to be holding a really big bucket for that differential, like
No, I
for
agree.
an apparatus.
Yeah, if you guys would be interested or need me, I'd be willing to sit down and just schedule a time and we can make something happen.
Sounds good.
Great.
And we own a trailer, the bottom trailer?
Nope, that's been removed.
Okay, thank you.
But we must not have the snowmobile trailer listed?
You know what, no, we don't have that one listed, cause that one there's got,
What year was
what
Dave's?
yeah, cause we've got Susan
Because
something
Dave
there.
Harris is on there too.
That was returned.
Yes.
It
That's why-
he removed it now.
But 2002, we don't have, was that Dave's 2002 Expedition? We don't
Yeah,
have
it was an expedition.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He removed it.
It's done. I just crossed it off as a mistake.
Yeah, so this was what was reviewed at the time, previous month. So outside of those higher pieces is just trying to make sure that we have the right limits that's gonna be doable, both from the risk retention standpoint, what you guys want, and then the overall cost associated with it, trying to find that balance. And it is a balance. Outside of that, those are the big high-level pieces that I would hit on. Trident is still one of my favorite carriers within the state. They are doing exceptionally well right now compared to some of the other captives out there. That's who this has been with over the years, other than the work comp piece. The cyber element, we play with that depending almost every year.
Yep.
Just because of the nuances with that. Just make sure that you're really taking a close working hand with your IT department, just because in the same breath, I'll say that AI is incredibly interesting and yet terrifying. And we're still having one good whack every quarter, usually relating to fund transfer fraud, money going somewhere where it didn't mean to because there was a bad actor that intercepted the message some way, tweaked it, and got it to go to them. And the days of being able, you probably heard me say the same speech last year because I've been using it for a lot of years now. The days of being able to pick up on bad English, proper grammar, like even a misappropriate or a wrong email address, those days are gone, unless you got someone that's really bad.
Yeah, you're right.
They're good. Straight up, they're good. And you can even go through your normal checks and balances, and there's still a good chance that you might get a thing.
Yeah.
So the cyber policies we've been changing, depending on who has the better what, for the better pricing each year. I don't think we changed this year for that one, because our current incumbent did the best, again. That's the only variable that I'm seeing a consistent change out of our municipal program, is really the cyber piece. And that's a constant evolving animal. Property, auto, GL, that's been around for a really long time. Cyber's been around for 20 years, but still it's really in its infancy when you compare it to everything else that's been tried and true for almost 100 years now, or more.
Right. Yeah.
So I hit on a lot of different things in a very short manner of time. Those are the recommendations that we have. There's really nothing there that we have to etch in stone today. We can circle back at, whatever the topic may be at the time that you need to. You just want to do it before something bad happens. And that's a crystal ball type thing as well. So what questions do you guys have that I can help out with?
Well, it sounds to me like the underwriters have values in mind as to what they think that we could get a new truck for in all years.
They don't really do the truck piece. It's
No,
more so
the
the property,
building.
because there's a better history that's a little more stable, and then there's algorithms that they do subscribe to. Now, buildings are like that way. Well, pretty much everybody's autos in the parking lot is like that. For the nuances of fire apparatus, just the pure volume isn't there like every GM vehicle or every Ford vehicle. So the building piece, they have a fairly decent grasp on, but I typically find most insurance companies, even on the personal line side, which I don't touch, they way undervalue the cost per square foot, and that's the easiest way to really kind of dumb this down. Take a building, what is it? Ask a local contractor, what do you think this will cost per square foot? Multiply that by your square footage. There's a rough, quick, easy piece to see if you're within the range of where you probably should be. Northern Michigan tends to stream a little bit higher depending on the pocket for the geographic area than the rest of the state, mid-state or downstate. That's the only other thing to it I would say from the property piece, but that kind of goes back into getting rid of that margin clause. That way you have full blanket limit in the event that you do need it. Because right now you're just capped at an additional 20% over that value of that limit for that location.
I had a question. So you probably heard the comment that we're having a township cleanup day.
Yep.
On someone else's property.
Yep.
Kind of dangerous. We got, garbage trucks there, all kinds of things going on. We have our policy in place.
Yep.
If something happens, who would get sued? What's the liability for us? What's the liability for the property?
Everybody involved.
Okay, so it could just be a big stinking hot mess. Yeah.
Anything could be, yeah.
So we need to be due diligent, we need to be.
You've actually got great due diligence out of those two already. I can't tell you how many phone calls between the two right here that we've had out of trying to make sure that we've done the best things that we can do as far as recommendations, language, best practices. So you got two officials that have already gone down that road. In any case, whenever something bad happens, any opposing attorney is going to take a shotgun approach. They're going to try to name anybody and everybody they possibly can. They're going to see what sticks and then hone in.
Okay, good, thank you.
Alright. I don't have any more questions for Greg right now.
I'm good.
Go through this and keep working on our evaluations.
Yeah,
Alright.
I'm always here to help out guys. Great communication with you guys as always.
Yeah.
Just let me know what else you need. Julie's got my number. She knows how to get a hold of me. We typically try to respond in the same day, if not sooner.
Yeah.
So that's what I got.
All right. Thank you
Thanks, Greg.
very much, Greg.
Thanks, guys.
Safe travels home. All right. Next thing we'll do is the library reports. Get you guys moving on here.
Yeah, I thank you for bumping us up.
Who wants to go first?
We're together.
Oh, okay.
She's with me, I'm with her.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I'm Ryan Deary, the director of the Charlotte Library. Thanks for asking some questions about the library. Thanks for having us, giving us some time with my board president. So, if I answer incorrectly, she can hold me liable. I was able to see the video of the last meeting, so I did see that there were some questions about the library and supporting the library. So I'm hoping the report I sent you helps answer those questions. But what else can I tell you? What else would you like to know? I think that individual, we've never had drag queen story times at the library. Had mermaid story times at the library, but that's a different thing altogether.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat.
That was pretty
My
cool.
girls love it. So.
The data I sent, we do use a pretty robust system, interlibrary system, to track who's registered, what they're taking out when. So that's 2 weeks ago data about how many folks from Banks Township are registered for library cards, how many folks have used those library cards. And that's simply for checking items out. We don't ask when people walk in the building where they're from. We don't ask when they go to one of our programs like story time or a lecture or a concert where they're from. But we know that our programs are really well attended. We know that the building is really well utilized. We know that the technology is highly utilized. You didn't get the chance to look at the annual report and see the stats on the back page with that information. And some of those numbers are certainly folks from Banks Township. But we do know that they're using the items, physical items, borrowing them, digital items, borrowing them quite a bit, more so than some of the townships that are paying on the millage, as you saw from the numbers. So.
I had a question for you.
Yep.
Has there been any movement or momentum to have you annex Banks Township as part of your district?
That would take a vote. I think we'd have to create a whole new district, and then everyone would have to, including our current townships, would have to approve that as well.
I just wanted
So it would take, basically disbanding the current library district, recreating it, and getting everyone to approve it, which is a a big undertaking, and everyone's already approved it. That seems pretty safe, and who's already in the district, I'd like to keep it that way.
So we're getting a pretty good deal, is what
You're
we're-
getting I mean, if you look at the numbers, the average, so even your residents who are within the district, but in your township, they pay on average $131 per person. The folks who are in your township, but not in the taxing district, pay on average, if you were to just break down your $6,000 by the amount of people in the township, be about $6.79. So that the average taxpayer pays $125 per year. The $6,000 for your 800 residents, yeah, $6.79. So that's a pretty big difference, and to me a pretty good deal on library services, especially considering that I think you use them pretty well. I think it's pretty amazing that almost half of the residents in your township have a library card. That's actually, I think, a high number for the state of Michigan. To me, that says a lot about Banks Township. So to me, it's clearly valued, and I think I would hope you would support that valuing. Any questions though about those numbers? Yeah.
I would say, as one who did pose the question the last meeting, and it was actually just meant to be a question, not, and I'm sorry that it was taken by some perhaps as some lack of support or as a threat to the library, but I am pleasantly surprised at the utilization, and I'll also admit that I found out since that plenty in our own family use the library. So I appreciate the information and appreciate the good work that you're doing.
Yeah, my goal was to answer the questions. I did not take it.
I didn't mean it. In fact, I appreciated how you introduced it, that you appreciated the questions. My question wasn't appreciated by everyone last month, and I was trying to defend myself there a little bit.
Have folks asking questions and taking it for granted. So.
Yeah, well, it's a great program. I appreciate you doing it, because I know my family uses it a bunch, so.
So does mine.
I've been a library director for 15 years at 3 different libraries. The usage of the Charlevoix Library is absolutely phenomenal. I think that's because it's a phenomenal library, but it's pretty astounding. The last library I was at was a community that was twice as large, and the numbers are half of the amount of usage that the library receives here. So it's pretty amazing throughout the whole of the district.
That's great. Well, thank you very much, Ryan. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for sending me home.
Thank you.
Have any questions? Thanks for having me. Oh.
Hi.
I'm Diana Huey, and I am from the Central Lake District Library. I'm gonna give you all a brochure here real quick. And I just want to apologize for Patty Dawson as our director. She wanted to be here so bad tonight, but was unable to reach out chemo treatment today. And Diana Hughes. H-U-G-H-E-Y. You're welcome. So I'm gonna step over here and just share. Patty kind of made some notes for me. I'm a programming director at the Central Lake District Library, and she thanks you for inviting us to come. I just wanted to share some of the things that we have for the communities in the townships. We provide, of course, library cards. We love it when people get library cards. And I have library card information if anybody wants to fill out for a library card. We have computers. We have hotspots that people can check out with their library card. Buddy bags that for kids that have like stuffed animals and books that go with them, stuff like that. We have STEM kits. STEM's a big thing. We also have STEAM Club that we do after school. We check out board games, puzzles, DVDs. We have copying, printing, fax machine, conference room that people can use when it's not being used, free of charge, of course. We have a Michigan Activity Pass that gives you discounts with different places, a library of things that people can check out. We have fishing pools that's safe from Northern Michigan, donated. Beautiful sets of 4 fishing poles, 2 adult, 2 kids, tackle box, everything with them. People can check those out with their library card. So we have notary services. We offer Melcat, so you can order books through our library, you know, all through Michigan you can do that, to order books from other libraries. We have Libby and Hoopla, which are online services for people. We have story time for little kids, and Lego Club is very popular after school. And we have the STEAM Club I mentioned. We do a Sassy Crafters for adults once a month, and that is, we have a waiting list for that. We have so many that come every month. So we have a lot that we do for the communities and for the townships. We service, sorry, I'm nervous. You can hear it in my voice. We service Echo Township, Banks Township, Central Lakes Townships, and parts of Jordan Township and Torch Lake Township. So those are the areas that we service right now. And I just wanted to tell you real quick, the patrons, by checking out books, you save money. In 2024, we saved our patrons $244,327. For Banks Township, we saved you $13,658. So if you, the people who checked out books, the books they checked out from Banks Township, saved that amount of money rather than buying the book by borrowing it. So we save you, quite a bit of money for people buying books. So do you have any questions I can answer?
I did, what was that? You said Michigan activities card? What can I do with that?
I have some here.
Yeah, and you didn't mention the cat. You guys have a great cat.
Oh yes, we have a library cat. Her name is Paige. She lives at the library, and everybody loves her. Everybody loves her more than she loves everybody else, but she's come a long way since we've had her. So this is, this kind of tells different,
Cool.
I don't know if it tells exactly where you can go online and it
Yeah,
tells
so
you.
park stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get
Okay.
discounts on parks and pretty neat thing.
Oh, yeah. So are there any questions that I can answer that I may or may not know the answer to?
Not for me. No, I
Okay.
appreciate what you guys are doing down there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for having us.
The one thing I would add for both of us is please do, if you haven't been in, please come to the library, ask for one of us, and I'd love to give you a tour, talk about our services to anybody. Happy to do that. There's a lot, we're librarians, we can talk all the time. There's a lot to talk about, so please do, if you haven't been in, come stop in, ask for us.
And I just want to add real quick, our after-school programs are so important. We have, we are a safe place, and I'm sure you are too, a safe place for these kids to come after school. Because they don't all have safe places to go home to. And so we provide a safe place for them to come. They can read books, they can check out books, they can play on the computers. We have a play area, and we do after-school programs, and it's very important for our communities. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So how much do you get from penal fines, and how does that work and benefit the library?
So the penal fines, it's a great question. Not many folks know that part of the state constitution law that when you receive a small penal fine, a portion of that goes to your local library or the library where the fine was, wherever you received the fine. So for us, it's just for our library district. So it's the 5 townships and that portion of Banks Township. Someone receives a speeding violation, another small violation, a small portion. The county and the court system determine what portion of that fine comes to the library. So for us, it's approximately it's less than 1% of our total budget comes from penal fines. So we receive a tiny bit of funding, penal fines, from the portion of Banks Township that is in the library district, but the bulk of those penal fines come from the 5 townships in Charlevoix County in the district. So if you get pulled over in the district, just know you're supporting the library.
You are. But it's only 1%, so obviously
yes.
people are pretty well behaved.
Yep.
You mean the total penal fines you get from all those townships in Charlevoix and Banks is only 1% of your budget?
The portion we receive, yes.
Yeah.
No, the portion they receive.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
It's 1% of the
I
budget.
was wondering if it was 1% is from Banks.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
that covers all your
1%
townships.
of the library budget. But the court system determines what portion of the penal fines are distributed to the library. I'd love to know what portion came in and what portion actually makes it to us. That would be a great question.
You really don't want to.
I know. Probably not great.
One thing you guys
1%.
need to remember too, is you do new contracts with the libraries, you have to file those with the state, the Library of Michigan, is that what
State
it's called?
Library of Michigan, yeah.
Yeah, and those need to go in there, and it's quite specific about the penal fines, how those are distributed too. Because some of it has already been allocated for the East Jordan Library, even though we no longer have a contract with them. So I believe they're holding that in escrow, in case we
I
ever
remember
get-
that, yeah.
Yeah, remember that part,
Mhm.
yeah. Just kind of a strange little thing.
And 95% of the library's funding comes from local taxes. That's the other, the income from Banks Township, penal fines, donations, that makes up less than 5%. We receive a tiny bit of state funding, about $9,000 per year, and we receive 0 federal dollars. So it's almost exclusively thanks to our great local support that we're able to do what we do. So,
Awesome. Thank you very much.
thank you.
Appreciate you guys coming down. All right, real quick before we go on to the minutes, I'm gonna clarify my previous comment. Nobody at this board is joking or acting like we're gonna raise the fire millage to 10 mils. I believe I remember what Richard was talking about. He didn't realize that you could go up to 10 mils, and the laughter about it was that where were we when we voted that in? When we voted in a special assessment district for the fire, why did we allow that to even be a thing? And so that's what we were joking about, or laughing, I guess. I don't know if they were joking about it. It's just a laughter. And I've often said publicly, privately, that if you want to get hanged in the town square, raise the fire millage to 10 mils, because there's no reason for it. That's the joke, not that we would actually do that. So for anybody watching at home, just want to clarify that's not ever going to happen. So, at least not while I'm sitting here. So, anyway, moving on to the approval of the minutes. I think they're all squared away, but if anybody's got anything to add to the regular minutes from March 24th? Otherwise, I take a motion to approve them. So moved. Support. Okay, a motion, support, any discussion on the minutes? All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye.
Yeah, Richard made the motion.
No, I think Marv made the motion, Richard supported it.
May I do something?
Okay. Then we'll go on to there are no meeting minutes yet for the 4/14 meeting, so I apologize for the confusion on that. They're just not done yet. They're not statutorily required until Thursday, I think. So, moving on, is Jared still here? I don't think so.
Nope.
All right, move on to the sheriff's report. George, thanks for patiently waiting.
That's no problem. I'll be quick. So, for the township, it was a busy month. We had 106 incidents. I'm sure you can imagine what a lot of that was. I'll just hit the highlights here real quick. We had 3 911 hang-up calls. Took 6 car-gear accidents. With 13 hazardous conditions, and I'm sure that was all related to the majority of that with the lines down. We helped with 8 lift assists of people that couldn't get up. 7 lying down calls, specifically lying down. We assisted on 10 medical calls. We had 3 personal injury accidents and 1 private property accident and 8 property damage accidents. 14 traffic stops and 17 trees down. So, no big surprise in any of those. So again, 106 incidents for the township for March. And again, we have 3 cadets in the academy right now, actually 5. We just hired 2 more that weren't sponsored. It's a miracle to have somebody in the academy right now. It's not sponsored by somebody. So we're gonna have 5 brand new people here shortly. So graduating May 17th, I think is it. So
good.
seeing some new faces around here. So yep, pretty proud of that. Anybody have any questions? No?
Oh, but thank you for calling right away after the storm. You guys these guys were calling me right away, asking who needed help, and, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome. That was, there's all hands on deck for sure.
Of course you can, Kate.
Yes, when I did call the county, I was really, really pleasantly surprised how quickly the sheriff's office responded and did welfare checks. And we're driving the roads, Lakeshore Drive, I said, go down Lakeshore Drive, go down here. And you guys did it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You just went above and beyond. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. That's what we're here for, so. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Good night. All right, Katie, treasurer report.
Oh, okay, I sent you all the receipts. It's not a very long list. We got the rest of the delinquent taxes in from Sherry Condons, from the county treasurer. The American Tower, I receipted in the rent last month because it was in the checkbook. So that's why you only see the $1 amount for American Tower.
Mhm.
That's for the revenue sharing. $59 refund from High Street for the insurance premium. And still getting interest. Is there anything in our checks of interest besides, we did payroll for the fire department, payroll taxes for the state, I actually went online and did them before this meeting because they were due. So the payroll taxes for the state of Michigan have already been done. Is there anything else in those bills?
I ordered flags for the cemetery for the veterans. The vehicle's on here, the, truck for the fire department.
Which we took 62.5 out of the vehicle fund, and the remainder came out of the vehicle repair fund.
Yep, roughly
Under-
1,700, or no.
Out of the general fund,
Yeah.
specifically the account for repairs.
3,400 from the rescue. Bartlett's is on here for the material for the kitchen. The remainder of what we owed them. Some new attorney fees.
Was that labor and material, or just the material?
Just the material.
Yeah, I think we paid labor originally. Was
Yeah,
the-
it was, I wanna say around 3,600 or something that we owed them. Brian has some extra charges on there just from the storm cleanup. There's a charge on here for Summer Solutions. Alex emailed everyone, a tree went down in the cemetery on Essex Road, or on, sorry, the Ellsworth Cemetery on Eaton Road. And Dylan was out there the next day and got it all cleaned up, and the stump was ground, and, the couple headstones that got knocked over, he actually picked back up, which I had talked to, Mortenson's about, cause they said that they would do it, but Dylan did it all. That's really it. Does anyone have any questions?
I would move that we pay the bills as presented.
Support.
Is that Richard?
Yep.
That's all like Richard, yeah.
He sounds
All right, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 All right, zoning administrator?
I could be shorter than anybody here tonight. Not much going on yet. I expect it'll probably pick up this next month. We had a planning commission, so I had my report there that, which will put down whatever was in those minutes. Other than that, not much happening, just again, some continued parcel splits and questions of, somebody wanted to know if they had sewer. Where? Not my department, but, I don't know if anybody have any questions, there's the snow's gone. I am leaning on one particular parcel to get some cleanup. It's not going any easier than it ever has, but I'm still trying, so, anybody have any questions?
Yeah, this is really unusual, isn't it, to not have a bunch
It's-
of zoning permits right now?
Yeah, I think.
The market slowed way
I
down.
was just gonna say, I heard through the grapevine, the market slowed down.
Nobody's building.
And, I'm sure it'll pick up some, but fit some pole barns still.
Yeah.
Questions about that, but nothing. Any questions? Call me if you do. You've got my number.
Sounds good, thank you. All right, planning commission report.
I think about the only thing I need to take time to mention is we're working on the master plan. and we worked through a couple chapters, and we'll continue. That's the main thing going on right now.
Okay, cool. Daryl, fire department?
Yeah, I can give you a little update. Obviously, we know with the storm, we were all busy. I don't know how George said we had 17 tree downs, because I cut and plowed off 27 just in.
Those are the ones they went to.
Oh, okay.
They got called
Sorry.
back.
We did have a fire this weekend, and that was the first time we actually utilized our new packs. Must say, worked great, money well spent for sure.
Good.
Then we were able to go back to the station, we filled everything right in house. I mean, saved hours of time, so definitely being able to have some timeline on the savings aspect of it, so that is appreciated on everybody's account. Guys are just doing some trainings here and there, we're just trying to get up to snuff on a lot of stuff. Trying to do some formal house training situations, entering, forcible entry, ventilation, stuff like that. So I got these younger recruits, they're really they're eager to get in. We just had another kid join up, had another kid submit an application, so we're definitely recruiting them in. It's just taking some time. I think a lot of it too is just being in the community's eyes a little bit more often and more proactive on that aspect is really pushing the younger guys actually. I had a couple high schoolers ask me questions this weekend, so I don't know what their thought process is, but if they're asking questions, they have
Some interest.
some sort of an interest.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously I'm gonna want them to go to college and further education, but if that's not what they wanna do, they wanna stay around here, I mean, I'd be willing to show them around and see what we could do, so.
Or maybe they come back, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, look at me, I did.
Good. Any pushback on the wage thing?
To be honest with you, I have been kinda absent
Okay.
with work and stuff, so I'm not too, I'm not too aware of everything. I mean, I've heard a couple things. I think the only thing that was brought to my attention was there's people that have been on for quite some time that don't have all their certifications, and so the thought process, from my understanding was, the people that are certified, they've already been through the schooling, they deserve a little bit more than the others that are just starting, that don't have the certifications. But again, I wasn't part of any of that conversation, so I honestly can't give you an honest,
Yeah, when we were talking and setting it up, it was if you're certified in something,
right.
you get the full rate. It was just, you just filled out an application, you show up the first day, you're not gonna get paid the same amount as the rest of the guys. And, so, I mean, let me know if it doesn't work.
Yeah, I don't wanna speak for everybody, but,
You're the closest to the guys though.
yeah,
so.
yeah, and no one's really said something to me, but it's up to you guys in my opinion, but again, we don't do it for the money, but it does feel nice to be compensated, because I still know that we are probably one of the lower paid ones around, but that's, you guys can factor the budget and stuff, and I mean, if I sacrifice my wage a little bit, I'd rather sacrifice a wage than and put it into equipment and stuff, rather than, put money in my pocket. So that's just me speaking for myself only.
Yeah, I understand that.
Mark's hope was that if we did this, that he could get the people who he felt were dragging their feet to do the training that they need to do. That's.
I see the logic behind it for sure.
We definitely did not go into this because it was a huge discussion before the board meeting with Mark, because he wanted what he wanted to do. Even I said, are you sure about this? This sounds a little crazy. And he said that he thought that this would give them the shove that they needed, that he didn't think it was right to keep upping everyone to the same pay when a lot of you have put in all the training, have done the extra, and these guys haven't. And some of them, they just haven't done it because they haven't done it.
They've been getting away with it for so long, and I think, not to get into too much political stuff, but we need to kind of pull the reins back on letting people slide by and actually put our foot, like, no, you have until this date to get your certifications, because we do have bylaws in place. And, you know, we understand we've given a lot of leeway as far as people's work schedules and family time. They can't put forth the effort, but you don't wanna tell somebody no too, because they do show up and they do something. It's nice to be able to have those guys on the outskirts. Hey, I need an axe. Someone's going to grab an axe off the truck, they're giving it to me. So that, I see where Mark's coming from with it for sure.
We'll have to let us know if it works.
Yeah. There are people out there that just don't want, they're not motivated to go do more. They want to be a part of something, but don't want to be in, you know, they don't want the responsibility. I had a soldier like that, super smart, would have been a great sergeant. Just, nope, I'm good. I want to be a specialist my whole career. I don't want any responsibility. I just want to sweep the floors and do my time and get out. Okay,
I'm trying
I
to
can't force you.
Yeah.
So.
Right now I'm juggling, working for the co-op, then, I got my polishing business on the side, plus I'm going to college again for more officer stuff, so, I mean, I'm 20 hours a day, just go, and,
Yeah.
so it's, some people are just, and I've been told down that I'm an inspiration to see how I can handle everything, and it's a struggle at times, but if maybe I could open somebody else's eyes and help and figure it out.
Yeah.
So,
Well, let us know, you know, if it doesn't work, we'll gladly switch it up. I mean, not bound by anything too much anyway, so. All right, no DDA report unless somebody else knows what's going on there. Ambulance Authority is looking for a director. At this point, we did select, an attorney, that is unrelated to any of the townships, and specializes in medical stuff, and they're Grandview's, attorney, and I'm drawing a blank right now off the top of my head what their name is, but they're very well versed in medical stuff, so. We do have an attorney now, which is good, and, yeah, we're looking for a director over there. It's on Indeed and, ZipRecruiter, I think, if anybody knows anybody that might fit the bill, so. And any correspondence and stuff you wanna put out there? Okay. All right, moving on, the township cleanup safety policy. Anything you wanna say about that?
So, the attorney, Brian Graham, said that we need one, but he can't write it. We have to hire a new attorney to write it, so we're gonna do that tomorrow, first line of business. And then we also have to have a, liability waivers, according to the attorney, that all volunteers will have to sign. So we're also going to do that tomorrow with the attorney, and we just need approval that we're gonna do this with the attorney. And then we are also going to get a contract for Dylan Summers to sign, and I didn't know if we need one for Larry, cause he uses his own equipment. And then the attorney will also approve the sign that the school is making free of charge. We just have to do a donation, but they don't charge cause they can't make a profit, and the school will make the banner that we can hang that essentially says, please remain in your car for safety issues. But we can't do anything until we hire an attorney, and that will be the first thing we do tomorrow. So that's what I have.
You good with that, Katie, about the, donation to the
Well, we're
school
contracting.
with the
I
contract?
mean, they're not, they can't have a,
They're not calling it a contract.
but we contract.
Yeah.
We have to
Right.
contract with them, we don't donate. We're contracting with them, they're providing us goods.
That's what I thought,
Yeah,
but I just wanted
but
to
they
double
can't
check.
have, they can call it whatever they want. But we're gonna call it, it's a contract.
Cool.
It's
Like,
for the school?
thank you.
Yeah, they can call it a donation, but we don't donate, we don't give money for night, but we're exchanging goods and
Okay.
services, this is a,
I'll get back with
but
you
it's
on
like
that.
it's
Yeah.
a purchase.
I'll get back with you on that.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'll have it. So-
All right, yeah, so we'll pass those things on to the attorney once we select one tonight.
So I thought we already agreed on the safety policy.
Brian
last
didn't
meeting.
like it.
Yeah, he wants
Oh.
the attorney, the one attorney who's gonna defend it in court wants to have
Yes.
his hand on it.
Brian said it needs to be
That's his
fixed.
recommendation.
So we spent
anyway.
45 minutes talking about it?
Yes, and he doesn't like it. He said no, very nicely.
Well, but we got it to a place where he knows, we know
And
where
I'm
to
glad
start.
we have our insurance agent to tell us, yes, you better have it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so, we're good with that. All right, cemetery headstone restoration. Have you talked to those guys?
We're not able to connect yet, it's gonna happen next month.
Okay.
So hopefully next month.
Figure out a number then.
I'm trying to do it before the next meeting.
Okay. Kitchen renovations.
Wait,
Dave, oh,
wait.
what?
So I had talked to Donna about this. I talked to Jen Vanderhart at the school. She's a teacher, and they have a cemetery club. And they would, the high school, it's the, I think it's the 11th and 12th graders. And I will get more. They would like to clean the headstones and pick up in the cemetery. It would only be the Ellsworth Cemetery. It would not be anything that's old or in need of repair, but they're doing a project on it. So I just need board approval, and I did talk to Donna about this and the kids being involved.
The other obstacle is you have a contract with Brian to do the work there.
Right.
So this, might be something you need to talk to him about too.
When he's already did, like, he sent us, we already paid him to do, I got
Major
the,
cleanup,
yeah,
the heavy
he already did all the major cleanup. I got the email from her this morning that if there was stuff that they saw, they would pick up. So, and I can get more details on what you guys want them to do or don't want them to do. But it'd be for them to get volunteer hours.
So when you say they clean the stones,
Clean the headstones, like there's
get
moss on
those
them.
little, they know how to use the right
Mhm.
cleaning solutions?
They're taking I guess they're taking some kind of class on it,
Okay.
and they're learning about it, and they wanna do history for Banks Township, so.
Well, I think it's great. They should get it done before we meet with the other.
Different
guys.
They won't get
cemetery.
the whole thing
Different
done.
cemetery.
Different cemetery.
But,
Are they doing it for
also,
free?
Yes.
also you talked about them doing the newer stones
Yes, the
that
newer
haven't
stones.
been addressed by Carter.
Yes, it
and
will only be the newer stones, and
so we're looking at some that aren't quite as bad, and hopefully just using water
Yes.
and good elbow grease,
yeah, and I talked to them about that.
The granite's gonna hold
Soap
up.
stones and all
Yeah.
that.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
But I did tell her that any of the older stones had to be off limits, and you can set parameters, so I can tell them what is off limits, because we don't wanna do anything that could damage some of those older headstones.
Right.
Well, and also you gotta have the liability issues in mind too. Some kid pinches their finger, loses a finger or something like that, you got problems, so those things have to be addressed in some contract, as Katie talked. But I think it's great to get kids involved in doing volunteering and doing community service, whether it's volunteer or paid, it doesn't matter. But they're participating in their community and preserving their history.
Yeah, that's new, a cemetery club, that's a new thing.
Yeah, it is new.
Okay.
Maybe they'll catalog all the headstones, but they can help with find a grave and such like that, yeah. Good.
They
Yeah,
probably wanna
most
get
we
after
got
it, right?
cataloged.
They
It's
probably
all
wanna start.
cataloged. It's just gotta be.
Okay.
But like find a grave where people take pictures.
We can
and
talk to
Right.
the
that
attorney
website
when we
would
hire
say
them tomorrow
so-and-so's
and see
buried
if there's
here,
anything we
and
need to
some
do
people have gone
on
through
that
all of our cemeteries and taken
for
pictures.
liability.
Shirley has that pretty well up to date.
She's done that, okay, Shirley Torres.
Yeah, she has worked with that quite extensively. so I would share with her when
Right.
there were burials, so she could update their records.
Nice.
All right, well then I would make a motion that we, ask the attorney to draw up, liability between the township and the school. I'm assuming this would be this is part of the motion, I guess, but that the school would handle all the liability if something were to happen to one of the kids.
Yeah.
I think as long as they're in school hours,
They should be, but, you know.
But you're
Still
still,
wanna
yeah,
put it
yeah.
out.
Put it
Yeah,
in
if a stone
writing.
falls on somebody, yeah. Yeah.
That they are able to work on newer headstones that are made of granite and similar material that is not gonna be damaged by aggressive washing. put it that way.
As long as they realize they gotta haul water.
We'll figure it out.
Really? There's not a big tank at the Ellsworth one?
Well, okay, but you want, the fire department fills it, so.
Is it filled, Daryl?
I'll find out tomorrow.
Probably not yet, they probably don't do it till first of May.
I had a patron get a hold of me, said the one on Church Road was, flipped over out in the middle somewhere, so.
Oh.
Yeah,
I didn't know
it's tipped over.
Oh, wow.
First thing is, it's on my list of stuff to discuss tomorrow, have a couple guys go out to the cemeteries and get them situated.
Good. All right, so that's my motion, to have the attorneys bless off on it and let the kids work on the hearthstones.
I support. Do you support it? I did. You could support it.
Any further discussion?
I was like, I can give it to you.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, kitchen renovations, looks great. I highly recommend you go check it out.
Great there.
You did a great job, Dave.
Thank
Thank
you.
you to you guys.
It's done, other than the inspection from Frank, which should be tomorrow.
Okay,
My Julie is finally set back up in an office, so like I said, I'll get you a final bill for that. I don't know where we're at, I know there was far more stuff that went in.
Yep.
I'll honor my end, whatever it is. I know there was more electrical work with the
plumbing
damaged
too.
wire that we found, and then the additional GFIs that they required us to have. And then there was a little bit more into the concrete removal for the plumbing end of it,
Mhm.
plus the sink and the water heater that we've added, so.
Right.
That little one was heating the system,
Oh, really?
for the most part, yeah.
Well, when he ran the water to see how long it took to get hot water there, what'd you say?
it was starting to get warm at about a minute and 10 seconds. Takes a while, you gotta turn them both on to get it flowing, but.
And that's why we put that
Right.
other water heater in there to begin with, cause you could never get enough hot
Right.
water.
Well, the thought by the plumber was, hey, this water heater isn't working, this one's doing all the work. Plus, it's 20 years old as well.
Right.
When does this one stop working? And it was kind of.
Yeah, it needed to be replaced.
That one would probably take care of everything.
How old was the one in the furnace room?
That's 20 years old.
That was 20 years.
They're both 20 years
I was
old.
gonna say, I remember it being changed, but.
The sink is leaking, the faucet. Where the spray nozzle,
Yes, I
there's a leak there.
mentioned it to Brad. Of course, it doesn't leak if you turn the one faucet on. The confusing faucet, yes. But yeah, everything in there is good. Putting the refrigerator in that cubby to reduce the noise is working well, but in the process of moving it around a couple times, the noise goes away, the noise comes back, the noise goes away. And looking at it, there's a vibration causing the noise. Someone has put a floor scrubby, like that goes on the big orbital scrubbers, underneath the compressor to maybe try to stop the vibration.
It's probably really good for heat.
But it's not really working well. So I talked to Julie about maybe talking to like Tom Cunningham or someone. He's the guy who used to work for Sears. And look at it and see if it's just, you can order some rubber, and that might take care of the noise. You guys probably haven't heard it, but if I turned it on, you wouldn't hear me talking.
Yeah.
Which was one of the reasons that we kind of built it in, thinking that that would go away. And in the process of renovating and setting up and tearing down for different occasions, we had it plugged in one day, and it was just sounded like it should, and then moved it, and then the noise comes back, and then so it was hit and miss. So it got me thinking, well, whatever it is not all the time deal, and I think the modification, I think it had good intentions, I just don't think it worked.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything's good there. You got your key locked on the door.
Yeah, the shelving in there, is not gonna work. But we'll address that, I guess.
Well, I'm
as
sure
we
the
move forward.
Chain of Lake ladies can come up with something. The township owns that shelf unit, so.
Okay.
Do with it what you will.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
The only other thing, Jerry had me look at the front doors today, the lock assembly is, you can unlock it from the outside, you can't turn the lock off on the inside, it just turns and turns. When we put those on, they're just a real pain in the butt they're very finicky. Of course, didn't wanna put them on, but required by law. I called, my salesman to find out who might, be the right people to look at it, because I don't have the patience.
Yeah.
They said, buy the Bay Glass out of Traverse City. They, do a lot of, commercial door repairs, and they would have the know-how to adjust all that, and if there's parts needed, be able to fix those. They are locked, kind of, outside. The top block isn't latching, so someone really reefed on it, I'm sure they could get it.
Well, if you're having somebody come look at these other two too, they need weather stripping and stuff, big time.
I don't know, did the lift start? That wasn't working when I was here to, but it wasn't the latch or?
No, another got halfway down. It won't start halfway down.
No.
It's got to be at the top all the time, it can't be at the bottom.
Really?
If it's at the bottom and the power goes out and settles down, it's not gonna work. If it's at the top and settles down, it'll reconnect itself and go up. If it goes at the bottom, you call the service people to re-coordinate it again.
Leave it at several inches.
So what are you saying,
off the
Jerry? You're
floor.
saying leave it up, leave the elevator up, don't bring it down to the main floor?
You can bring it down and use it.
Yeah, but just for
When you're
resting,
done
it
with
should
leave
be,
it up. It's
when
just
it's
another
idle, it
note
should
that
be
they're not
up.
gonna listen to.
So, they use it at Tagalong Tuesday?
Huh?
They use it at Tagalong Tuesday?
Do they?
Yeah,
For what, for handicapped people?
Hennevolds, yes. The wife can't do the stairs, so they use the library for her. So I will let.
The elevator.
You said library, elevator?
The elevator, sorry. I will let, McDuffie know.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
and
leave
then
it.
leave it
To
run
take it back
down.
up once they come down.
I guess my question would be, how did it get halfway down? Unless maybe someone
I don't
pulled the
know.
button and gave up or something.
And, or if someone used it during the rent, when it was rented. Tagalong Tuesdays hasn't been here in a couple weeks.
Yeah. I guess my question would be, is if it's drifting or if someone,
Yeah,
if they did it. but-
Well, the elevator guy told me to leave it up 6 inches or so because it does settle. And if we're not using it much and it ends up on the bottom, then sometimes it doesn't kick in and, cause it's not supposed to be way down to the bottom or something. So I used to leave it up a little ways, 6, 8
So
inches.
that's, it. Whether it's at the top or up, it needs to
Yeah.
be not.
Not at the bottom.
At the bottom. I don't know. You got a contract for the elevator now?
Yeah, I think so.
I knew, I'm
Pretty sure I
couldn't
signed
remember
it.
the name of the
Thought I
company,
signed
and
it,
they,
yeah.
the same was at the church.
You guys did something, I remember seeing it.
Yeah.
Something out there, 3 something out of Grand Rapids. I'll
Okay.
look it up.
And they need to be up here every 6 months or something.
And he was here while I was here, just because he was
That's
in
right.
town, and looked at it and got all the information. Took copies of the log, added some new paperwork to the log. The log, for everyone's knowledge, is in the, it's the tan cabinet, I think, just in a envelope. It's got the log, it's got the emergency key, so I believe everything is in there, so.
And the fire department was made aware of that for emergency evacuation.
Cause in the event that it's stuck and the supervisor and trustees and the clerk and the maintenance guy and everyone are out of town. It does happen, and no one knows how to get into it.
It has happened.
No, no, no. That's why this was set up this
Prefer if
way,
you
so
didn't do
you
that.
could use the right tools and the right instructions.
Trying to get stuff in their phone, and nobody's around here.
They're, yeah,
I
they're
wouldn't wanna be
screwed.
that person. So there's no way in that you'll ever make enough noise to find them in there, till they're dead.
Oh, they're not gonna be in there that
Well,
long.
thanks for bringing that up.
Someone's here every day.
I can tell you, there's people that don't even like looking at
At least every week.
Yeah.
And I've been stuck in it, so I know what it's like.
Check it every morning, Julie.
Just another duty.
Put it on your list.
Not first.
Yeah. I don't wanna find a surprise in there.
Maybe they could put an emergency call button in or something like that, to see what those guys can do.
It should have something.
I would think, I mean, I can't, I didn't even know you could do that, put an elevator in without some sort of emergency call.
It's not an elevator. It's a
Well,
lift.
whatever, I mean, it's
I mean,
something that you
there
can
is
put your
something
body
in
in, and.
Yeah.
Fine line.
Yeah,
And
apparently.
it's not an easy process to put a call button and stuff in there.
I know,
from the
but that-
Housing Commission, they usually-
That is pretty terrifying, so we'll see. See what they can-
They might have a problem with build it.
If we had to put something Wi-Fi,
Try to do
you know,
something nice.
to notify somebody.
A ring camera?
Maybe, I mean, it really, yeah.
Punished.
Motion
Yeah.
detected?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's,
Help!
yes, that's not a bad idea.
It's not.
Have Mike
Not at
install
all.
something.
Wireless.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks, Dave, again, looks really good, love the, it just turned out.
That's why I just said, that's
Thank you.
not, yeah, just see
Well,
Mike
I would
do
love if
something.
we did have to put that sneeze guard back up, but Jan was not having it, so.
Wouldn't have that.
She wouldn't have it up?
No, it had to be there.
I was gonna
She-
say, I thought so.
I've never seen it down, ever, but.
Yeah, same.
But it looked really nice when it's not there.
What happened to the clock? We don't know how long.
We don't know what time it is.
There's a clock in the kitchen.
I know, there used to be two.
Oh, the other one's broken. They put
But I
that one in
think
the kitchen
without
first.
that sneeze guard, which looks like it could come down, then the health department wouldn't approve it as a commercial kitchen.
It has to have doors to be a commercial kitchen
Right, so
too.
that window,
Yeah.
if it doesn't come down, if that was left open, I mean, it can come down.
And she was here and questioned whether it was, she was probably leaning more towards it's a very low volume, commercial kitchen, whether it even needed to be certified. And, it was kind of the discussion that day was, it needs to be certified just to keep things on the up and up.
Yeah.
We did that, we paid for that last month.
Yeah, okay. CSX, I've had like one email with them, they, are still looking at that the trail and seeing what can be done there. They're still doing title search work and stuff, so that's all I had for that. All right, on to probably the big decision of the night, the township attorney. We had a great call with them, both of them. I like them both, but for me, I thought Welcome knocked it out of the park, and they offer a lot more for the same amount of money. So I'm gonna make a motion that we choose Welcome for our attorney.
I would, yeah, I would agree with you. She supported it, but I agree with you. They had all the experience with municipalities and townships in particular. Townships are different than cities and villages. So I absolutely am in favor.
Yeah, I really like the fact that they're probably gonna have they have an office in Charlevoix already and probably be staffed before long.
Yeah, that's a great benefit too.
Where's their office in Charlotte?
They just had signed a lease on it, right by the courthouse somewhere.
Yeah, the courthouse. I don't
By
know
the
if it's
county
old
building,
law offices there,
in
the
town.
library, I don't know.
And there's,
Oh,
It could
on
be those,
Mason,
it
over
could be
on
those
Mason.
offices, that was, they didn't give us a street address, but that was my first thought, yeah. There's already
Yeah,
offices.
they do some super, classes for MTA too. They're just a great firm, they really are. We'd be really happy with them.
So, there's no motion and support. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same? All right. They got work to do tomorrow.
Yes.
Put it to the test.
Yep. Anything with the land combination form? No.
Forget to inform the other guy.
No, well, I'll let Nick know right away in the morning.
I found the forms, but I don't, nothing tonight.
Okay.
I'll get with it this time.
All right, Toad Lake Road, Bert was out there today, looking at it. He asked us, how much do we wanna do on it? I said, well, give me the lipstick on a pig and give me the full boat, and he wasn't able to get back to me yet today, so. He didn't realize our meeting was tonight, so, not sure how he missed that, but whatever. Anyway, he's working on it. You know, we can either go with just a gravel overlay to try to build it up, and he can try to drain some stuff, but, otherwise, what it really needs is some proper drainage. I mean, that's
Yeah,
why
it's
it's.
settled a long ways from the fields where it used to be.
Yeah.
Used to be ditches and.
Did they? Okay, yeah. So, anyway, we'll.
Did he give us a price on Essex Road? Yet?
Just the same one he's given me before, 2 something, so.
So he did.
Yeah, it was
redo-
2.6, I think, what he came in at.
Okay.
Was his guess, but he doesn't know for sure, he hasn't checked every single thing, so,
Well, the reps want a price. I mean,
yeah, and I told him that, and they said, well, we were looking for 3, so that would work.
Okay.
I said, okay, sounds good.
and the update on that is, from the reps, is that we're not on the top of the list anymore. We had a disaster in Gaylord, so.
Surprise, surprise, right?
Yeah.
But
So we dropped down a little bit, so we hope to, be able to get back up there and get something, but it's still appropriations
Yeah.
time, and who knows if we can or not.
We'll see.
Okay, at the risk of beating a dead horse,
Why not?
what's the difference between, I know, I'm aware. And we can talk about
That's
this
fine.
later.
What?
Just like where we're putting money towards, 6 Mile Lake Road, and if we do Toad Lake Road, what's the difference with, Lakeshore Drive? Or is it because it has to be rebuilt or completely repaired?
Yeah, in my view, the difference is, and we're just gonna look at a quote for Toad Lake. We might do something, we might not, I don't know. Depends on where the number comes in at. But the difference between those 2 roads is we can't come to an agreement of what to do on the road, I think. The previous board, lots of previous boards would have done something if they could come to an agreement. The board, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, had a quote on the table from the road commission to pave it for $250. And retrospect, maybe they should have done it, I don't know.
Why didn't they do it?
It was a lot of money.
Because
for a
they'd be
road that
back
didn't-
here today saying, our
It fell
asphalt
apart.
roll is, it hasn't even
apart.
lasted 10 years.
Well, they were gonna put just a narrow strip down there at one point for only, I don't know, 25,000, was it 250?
To pay, yeah,
To pave
yeah, it was
yeah.
250. To
Without
fix
ditching
to
it,
fix yeah.
but then somehow Bert decided it had to be ditched.
Well, there is a state law that was passed that limits his discretion. But up until like 5 years ago, eight years ago, somewhere in there, there was the engineer could have his own discretion and say, well, this road doesn't really need to be 20 feet wide, it's low volume, whatever, right? He could say, it doesn't need to be that wide. Well, then there was a law passed in Lansing that requires them to follow ASHTO guidelines if they're going to change the surface of the road, which paving it would change it from gravel to paving, so that changes the surface of the road, and now it has to be 20 feet wide. If you make that road 20 feet wide, you gotta move at least 1 pole. I think there's 2 or 3 down there that have to be moved. So now you're talking about getting Great Lakes Energy involved to move things back, and now they're gonna cut a bunch of trees, and that a problem for a number of the residents down there who don't want it to look.
And there were wells
Well,
and
yeah.
porches that would disappear, yeah.
Yep, there's that too, and, yeah, beyond the aesthetic, absolutely. And, Lakeshore Drive is very, very difficult.
The people on Lake Shore Drive gotta come to a decision what they want before we impose something else that they don't want, and then we're the bad guy again.
I mean, I said it earlier, $100,000 to fix it for one summer is just, I'm not in on that.
The drainage and the substrate on that road, no matter how much you throw at it, it's just gonna continue to do what it's doing. I mean,
It's a lot of water
we
coming
got-
off.
You built a road in a swamp.
Mhm.
I mean, not you, but I
Well,
mean,
and the county, when they fixed it, right,
Yeah.
when or with the Afton Stone, that was a mess, that started, they were happy, but it was a clay, they sent down the worst Afton that they could, so it was full of fines and clay, and, they were coming and complaining, cause it was like cement on the car when it dried, you couldn't chisel it off the car, so that was the problem. And then they'd add 13 inches of it, and then they couldn't get in the driveway, so we scarified it and brought in more gravel to try to mix those fines up, and it was good for a little while, and now it's, you know, when we see those soil borings, and they say, well, there's no gravel left here, and we as a board that proved 13 inches of it, go, where to go? So it's going in, it's just getting pushed into that substrate that's down there and becoming, so any money you put into it, it's short of fixing it at the root problem.
do they wanna fix it at the root problem? Cause like
No,
the
no,
stuff
they
that
don't
I've
wanna
read,
spend that
They
much
don't wanna
money.
pay for it. They want us to pay for it.
that's the thing that I'm struggling with. Because I get that they're residents and they're taxpayers, but it's a dead-end road. So what about the roads that we all drive on? And if every other road in the township was good, then I wouldn't struggle. But there are a lot of roads that are falling apart.
Right.
Well, they were proposed with a special assessment of, what, 20 grand a parcel or something like that.
Have to go back and look.
I mean, that's a lot of money, but if that's if I lived down there and for 20 years, if I come to board and someone said, hey, for 20 grand, we're fixing the road, guess what, I'm writing the check, as much as I don't want to swallow. So I think
Well, I think they still need to look at it going through, making it a through road and coming out there like it used to years ago.
Where at the,
North Brinkers.
I know, that's an idea I've always had, that's eminent domain, that's
Yeah,
getting into
Unless
private
you
property.
can get them all to agree, then you would have to have that
Absolutely,
domain.
absolutely, Yeah.
But that really solves a lot of issues. I mean, for emergency access or
that would.
egress or whatever, because if that road goes into Lake Michigan.
It's done, that's the end of the road, that's literally gonna be the end of the road, yep.
Right.
That was my thought, is that something happened, and then you know, breakers and just go out and then.
And it would be either eminent domain there, or it would be eminent domain around property, yeah, and it's a very sensitive environmental, you have Lake Michigan, you have the shoreline that's dropped off, you have the wetlands here, and so it's just not ideal for putting more gravel on and straightening the crown and then scraping it off at plow season.
You might have 50 to 100 grand in the permits. Going back to work.
Oh, I'm just trying, yeah, oh, no, I'm just trying to understand.
Yep, no, I get it.
That's, you know, cause I could do the same thing and I could bring in the asphalt that I have been filling holes in my yard with because I have to pick it out of my yard before I can mow my yard, right? Cause Essex Road is literally falling apart, but I don't complain about it because I know that we don't have the $2 million that is gonna, cause that road has to be rebuilt, right?
Yep.
So I'm gonna pick up the asphalt and save my mower and just go about my business.
And Essex is a primary road, that is 100% on the county.
Well, and so is Rushton.
Yeah, but there's a precedent, we've crossed the Rubicon, we did Rushton
So,
Road,
I
we
guess-
did a county primary road The township funds.
So my question, so then my next question on that is, if the township is paying, if we are paying to fix these primary roads that are county roads, why can't we ask the county to reimburse us? They have the money.
No, they don't.
The county doesn't have the money?
No, they have this was 3 years ago, they had $55 million in road projects that need to be done in the county, and they get about $5 million for work a year that they can actually spend on road work. And that was, again, three years ago, I think Jairus gave me that number, maybe
They don't
before.
spend anything on road work, they never have.
Well, that's
And
fine,
they
but I'm
won't
still
put it
saying,
on
I'm saying
the-
it's
they won't put it on the
$55
ballot.
million.
They won't ask the voters if they want a countywide millage.
They
They
spent,
won't do it.
I just,
they spent a lot of money on Eddy School Road. They spent a ton of money on that blowout in, on the way to Alden Highway last year before. That set them way back. I mean, I think they could probably spend more money on the roads too, but
Well, Eddie
I'm
School
not their
Road, they
accountant,
got a
so.
grant for it, but in the end, it only covered 80% of it.
Yeah,
So Kearney
and Kearney
Township coughed
picked up the rest of it.
Yeah.
Well, they had a motion to spend the marijuana tax money on roads and it failed.
That was the county commissioners, yes,
counties,
right,
yeah,
not the
they
road
just did
commission.
that.
Right.
You're right, I'm sorry. Yes, the county commission does not spend any money on roads. I was talking about the road commission.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
I got a question for you.
Sure,
How much did we spend on Rushton Road for the Banks Township?
500 grand roughly.
And it's already starting to crack, and now you're thinking about putting money on 6 Mile Lake Road?
Yeah. We've already approved it, but yeah.
And you don't question what that road looks like today?
I haven't seen that, so I'll go drive it next time I am in town. I mean, I
Where are
don't.
the bad spots, can you tell us? Where we
Yeah,
should-
I-
Well, there's
Broken up
one
a
right
little.
there by the brick house where they changed the culvert already.
Mm-hmm.
Because when they put that culvert in, that was all mud.
Yeah,
And
they,
so when they showed up to pave, they start on the
Compact.
north end and go south. Which, when they were putting the culverts in, they were on the south end going north. And then when you drive down through there, you'll see cracks
Yeah, Claybrook Bridge area.
in the road.
oh, really?
Not on the edge, in the road, it's
Okay.
already cracking. And it's like,
the road commission
are
did.
you guys happy with that?
Well, the road commission does the
They
prep
contract
work, and I think Elmer's did that one, if I recall
I think it was
correctly.
I think
Right.
Payne and
No,
Nolan did it.
Payne and Nolan?
But they're coming through and all they're doing is paving it, so they're not gonna give you a guarantee.
Right, they're not doing and
Right. So if you're spending our tax dollars on paving these roads and they're not doing a very good job, I think you ought to think about why we're giving them our tax dollars.
they are their roads. They will not let us contract directly with the contractor,
But you're spending our tax dollars on them roads.
so.
Pay a portion.
And
of it.
if you're happy with them, that's fine, but if you're not happy with them, why are we still doing them? Is my question.
It's fair. I again, have not seen Rushton, so I'll go check it out. And I can bring that up with Bert and talk to him.
So, but if I understand it, cause we have to use who they say, cause they're county roads, we pay a portion of it and the county pays a portion of it.
They give us a small, portion of X number of dollars. I think this year it's $350 is the number that comes to my head.
350?
Split.
Oh,
across
between
all the
15
townships,
15 townships.
which
So-
results in us getting like
If we-
$25,000.
If we take that money, we have to do what the county says because it's a county road, or we have to
It's their
do it because
roads.
we take the money?
No, it's their road.
It's their roads.
I mean, I guess we could,
But if we
I
don't
guess
fix it,
I-
if we don't fix it,
well,
it's not gonna get fixed.
I could ask
Right.
them, well, right, so I could ask them, I could say, hey, Bert, I don't want you guys touching this road. Give me a quote to have Reeve Riley do the entire thing. It's just gonna cost us a lot more money. So I'm
But
happy to go
you'll
do
get a
that.
guarantee then, won't you?
Maybe, I don't know.
I don't-
I've never asked about a guarantee on a road. I know that they didn't guarantee much at M6, I don't think, did they, when they had to blow that whole thing up a few years ago? I don't know. I'll ask if that's an option.
There is no money, but that, it doesn't matter if we'll do it or not, we have no money to do all that stuff.
Right, yeah, at the end of the day, I just don't think that the money is there. Yes,
Can we
Candy?
like petition the governor, wasn't she gonna fix the roads? I mean, where's she at? She was
Yeah,
just
we're-
in Gaylord last week or the week. I'm just just kidding.
No, I'm with you, I'm with you.
Dude.
I share your frustration.
Well, I don't mean to be offensive, I'm just laughing, because that was always her slogan.
It is.
I'm saying for
Well,
right down.
and honestly, downstate, there's a lot of roads getting fixed.
Well, you always see the highways getting
What are you
fixed.
sorry about? Well,
And you ask either one
It
of the
does
asphalt
sound like-
companies, and they don't warranty any of their work.
it sounds like our constituents want us to be more of an advocate with the county with the county on the quality of the roads, what's
Mhm.
getting fixed, what's not.
Yeah.
So whatever we can do with that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go check out Rushton tomorrow and talk to Pete. That's gonna be the best bet.
I mean, he was here, he said he'll rattle chains, and we haven't asked him to rattle any chains.
We'll rattle chains.
Pete.
Cougar High said he,
Oh,
he said he would
okay,
rattle
okay.
chains.
I'll
We
go check
haven't-
it out.
We haven't asked for a chain to be rattled.
Yeah, I mean, I went down there and complained about the fact
Really,
that
Brad?
that culvert is screwed up.
We do.
Yeah, right,
On day
right
one.
Day one,
And,
and so now again, the shoulders are blowing out, and what gravel they did put on the edges is gone. I mean, there's 2 or 3 inch drops in several areas, and that's just busting the edge of that road right off already.
Yeah, just didn't have the support. I know that's how Atwood is too, except it's 7 inches thick or something like that, so it's still holding up. But
So we keep paying and they're not fixing the roads properly, but we keep paying for them to fix the roads.
That's my question.
the government.
Or if you're happy with
Nothing,
it, that's
it'd be
another
worse.
thing, but.
You can't do nothing, it'll be worse.
Right, they'll all be like Essex.
Well, now it's coming into gravel season, that Elmer's will be running down 6 Mile like nobody's business. And I've been down through there with a truck coming at me, I'm in the ditch, cause they're trying to stay on, on the road, there ain't much road left, there's no shoulder left. It's just, there's a lot of roads and not a lot of money, is the problem.
Yep. And the whole state of Michigan, for some reason, can't figure out roads.
Yeah,
I mean, it's the entire state. I don't know.
we got main axles on a trailer, we got all these extra things, you go out west and they got the same problems we
We
do.
got frost thaw problems, right? And
Yeah,
they
it-
managed
that's a
to
big problem.
have decent roads.
My dad always said it was MDOT. My dad was a road, he did road work. He was he'd be a great one to ask how to fix roads. Unfortunately, he passed away. But he was a specialist. That's what he did, was he fixed roads. He was the go-to guy that went all over the Detroit area to do the impossible jobs. And he always said that the issue is MDOT. If you got them out of the picture, we could get our roads fixed.
That doesn't solve the local roads, though.
It doesn't.
I don't think. Maybe it does. Maybe it has an impact. I don't know. Anything else with roads?
We don't have anything more to report on that little project, village.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you, Rich. I meant to put that on here. I was waiting to see if anything else came in. I forgot to put it at it. 6 Mile Lake, the resort drive. Jerry has talked to one contractor. Was it Reith Riley? Now you got the second one too, right? About extending that project all the way down to the intersection in front of the park and then possibly even down to the bridge. I don't know what you got. Have you got anything back from him
Got
yet?
nothing back from Payne and Dolan.
Okay.
It was 52,000 for our section of Rushton Road.
Okay, with a different contractor, because Payne and Dolan's who actually got the bid.
That was with Keith and Reith and Riley.
That's with Reed Riley, okay. So it'll be interesting to
Payne
see.
and Dolan say they'll do a better price, but when I see it, I'll believe it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So it's 52,000 total cost,
To bring it to the
For that
intersection.
section.
1,750 feet.
and
Jerry,
we're
you
still
said
hoping
Rushton.
are we still hopeful that that's gonna be a three-way
It
partnership?
won't be 3-way.
Who's out?
County will not put any money towards it.
Have you talked to him?
It's not a county road.
Have you
It's not a
talked,
CO road.
have you actually talked to Pete though?
Huh?
Because Pete told me he thought he could get a vote to
Well,
split that 3
Pete
ways.
talked to you, I've never got coffee either one.
He's talking about your 6 Mile Lake Road.
You
Yeah.
said Rushton.
Yeah, yeah.
The village part of it.
Mhm.
Okay. Just to,
Well,
Yeah, we'll see what the bid comes in at.
Call Pete
I'm
again.
still, yeah, I will. Once we have a number, we can,
he said 52,000?
$52,000 from Ruth Riley to do that work, to take it to the intersection of Bridge Street and Resort Drive.
Is that to the intersection or down to the bridge?
Just the intersection.
Do you wanna try to, you ask them to go, you wanna ask to go down to the bridge or close to it?
We don't have money to do the real part, so really doesn't matter. We're just getting prices.
The intersection's got a divot, a hole there.
Keep your spreaders off, and it's a dope.
Yeah, I quit farming, we could,
Yeah, I guess
we
we just
could do
did our
that.
jobs.
It's only one little strip here, I don't know from there down if it's that bad, but there's one little strip by the intersection on Bridge Street that could use a little patched out, but.
Yeah, I guess we'll see what the number, what it comes in at, I don't know. Would the village be, if I could make it work, would the village be able to financially do $18,000?
Maybe.
Okay. All right, well, I know a couple of us are interested in trying to help that project along. I'd like to see it fixed all the way into town, but we'll see what we can make happen. All right, moving on to the Old Dixie Highway resolution for Great Lakes Energy. I'm sure this will be a rather short discussion because we did the exact same one for the Road Commission last month, but I'll read it. Banks Township Board resolution, request for tree and limb removal along Old Dixie Highway. Whereas the Banks Township Board recognizes the importance of maintaining safe and navigable roadways within the township for the safety and convenience of residents and visitors. And whereas numerous old trees and overhanging limbs along Old Dixie Highway present potential hazards to motorists, pedestrians, and adjacent properties, particularly in adverse weather conditions. And whereas the presence of aged and deteriorating trees poses a risk of falling limbs which could lead to downed power lines, road obstruction, property damage, and injury. And whereas regular maintenance and proactive removal of such trees and limbs will enhance public safety, improve road visibility, and ensure the long-term sustainability of the roadway's infrastructure. And whereas Great Lakes Energy is responsible for overseeing the power line maintenance and ensuring tree trimming along power lines beside Old Dixie Highway. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Banks Township Board formally requests Great Lakes Energy to assess and take necessary actions to remove old trees and hazardous limbs along Old Dixie Highway within the jurisdiction of Banks Township. And be it finally resolved that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to Great Lakes Energy for consideration and action at the earliest feasible opportunity. Adopted this blank day of 2025 by the board. So moved. So moved. I'll support it. And any discussion?
Yeah, ironically, storm damage, I
Yeah,
drove
it was
all
crazy,
over.
right?
There was no storm damage on
That whole
that
road
road.
was fine.
It was fine. It was like nothing happened. Every other road was, People's Church was terrible.
We were down there quite a few different.
You were on Dixie?
Were you?
Oh, yeah?
I was there like in days, I didn't see, you must have
That's because
cleaned
they
it
already
up.
cleaned it up.
Wasn't
Church
from
was
Dodge
terrible,
Road.
People's was
No.
terrible.
You got windstorm
The wind.
the day before.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the Thursday.
All right, then I will call a roll call vote. Richard?
Yes.
Marv?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Oh, you already did it. Cool. Okay, we had the library and the insurance. Okay. Huh? No, we don't need to do that now.
Okay.
I'm not,
Okay.
Charlevoix County, or Charlevoix Public Library has asked to increase the cost to $6,000 per year for the library. We don't need to worry about that this month. We can talk about that next month, unless somebody wants to do it right now.
You just have to do it by June.
Yeah.
You can do it the next
We
one.
still have a good contract with them for a couple more months. If this goes fast, maybe we'll come back. It's been brought to my attention that there are people in the community using our dumpster as their personal refuse service. And so to limit that, it might be a good idea for us to put a lock on it that Jerry and
Well,
Julie have.
do you start with a lock, or do you start with a sign that says, "Smiley, you're on camera, not for public," because it is illegal.
I don't know if
You
it's,
don't look at signs.
well, yeah, I mean, I look at how many times
True.
Does it have a bar on it? I guess that'd be my question.
Do we have DFL?
Yeah, you might have to request a dumpster, a new dumpster with it.
we could do that though.
It seems
So
to
if
me
Jerry-
like we could try something less intrusive first, and if it doesn't work, because it's a lot more convenient. People are using the hall, if they got a place to put the stuff, if they can't put it in there because it's
But
locked.
if Jerry could unlock it, Jerry or Jane could unlock it if there's a hall rental, cause usually it's like Friday, Saturday.
So if it's locked, then what?
People can't dump their trash
I
in there.
understand, but then what, when the truck comes, does he have to get out and unlock it?
Yeah, they'd have to do that.
They do that?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they do some.
I watched someone, a couple
watch
different
them just
people.
drive away and
I heard
say,
noise
"Sorry,
and I.
couldn't dump it."
Yeah.
I've seen them unload the back of a pickup
What
truck
I do with my Suburban was just
before I
too
could get
close.
out there.
You don't think they'll leave it like beside it or anything? What if people start doing that? What do we do?
They will, they'll.
Do we wanna put a camera on it?
I think we can
There is
have
a camera.
on
It doesn't give a good, you have to, it's not incomplete view of it though. You can see,
Can it be adjusted?
it's
Or
another
is-
question.
Or
It
does it
can
have
be
to be?
adjusted, but you also have to
To get the
have
boxes.
the, ballot can on that camera.
Oh, let's not mess with the ballot cam.
Because we did adjust it when we put the ballot can in, because the ballot can had to be included in it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know, it maybe could be adjusted somewhat to include that.
Is it causing a problem where it's too full on us?
There's a lot of times.
Is it a
when things
weekly dump?
Overflowing.
Weekly dump?
I don't know how often they dump it.
They dump it every
Every other week.
Yeah, every 2 weeks, but if, at least for like a home use, like our dumpster, if that lid isn't shut, they won't take it or they'll charge us extra. Right, so like, you guys working was one thing, and they didn't charge us extra, but they've made it very clear. So like, when they don't come to my house, cause well, your driveway's muddy and I'm not pulling in, well, I have to call and say, it's gonna be over full. The lids are gonna be propped open, cause you didn't come and dump it when you were supposed to.
We've never had a problem with that. We have 2 dumpsters and they're often overfilled, and I think they appreciate our business.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's in there, they take it, but I
Ours won't.
don't know if
don't
it's.
remember getting charged extra for the dumpster when it was, and sometimes it is,
It's over full quite a bit, which
because
they
people
haven't
don't
charged.
smash it down.
I think they kind of monitor it too. I mean, because our dumpster's over full this week and there might be
Half
one bag of
empty.
stuff in the next. So I think
Yeah.
your driver kind of
Well, that's true too.
looks at it and goes, well,
It's,
an average.
Yeah.
Versus if it was bulging every time you came to pick it up, I guarantee you'd be.
it's not a public dumpster. I think that's the bigger.
Oh, we all agree on that.
Yeah, I just don't want to create more of a hassle than.
Will you put a sign out there and see if it helps? That's fine.
A
if that's what you wanna
sign
do.
at a minimum should say not for public use, or this dumpster is not for public.
I gotta admit, I put my Culver's bag in there.
You know, some people might think this is taxpayer money, and why can't I have a taxpayer?
If not, you'd have put it in here and then it'd have gone out there anyway.
Well, yeah, exactly.
That's a little bit different than bringing your trash from your house
Well,
and pulling up and throwing your trash in.
Right.
I agree.
Do you know what it costs? You sure it's only dumped every other week?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's every 2 weeks.
Okay, because they're through here every week. I'd be curious to know how much it would cost to have them dump every week. We all,
$120.
how much?
Another $120.
Yeah.
But a lot of
So-
times it's, like David said, there'd be one
It's
bag in
not
there.
always- yeah.
Even after a couple of weeks, so.
It depends on if there was
Depends on
an
how many
event.
closets Julie's cleaning.
It's actually it's $64.50 every 2 weeks.
So 120.
Cheaper than what I pay.
Of course it is.
Anyway, okay, so we're going with the sign.
We're gonna start with the sign.
Everybody good with that?
Yep.
Okay. All right, restroom facilities at the Township Park. Brian mentioned that they're a little bit abused by the
Picture was
public
nice.
down
Yeah,
there.
via email.
You're welcome. His was in color.
Are you
Did he
eating?
give it to you in color?
No, you
Oh,
sent it. You sent
yeah,
it
I
in
sent it
packet.
a paper copy. I got it in color.
Oh, yeah, there's always some gems out there.
I wasn't aware that people pooped on the floor, so that was a new one for me. He said that, so this is what Brian and I talked about, was first trash cans. So there's, he picked a couple different options out. So the main thing that's happening at the park is since there's no trash cans, and there's grills and there's a picnic space, people are taking their trash and either shoving it in the grills or they're shoving it down the toilet. And then when they shove it down the toilet, no one wants to come and pump it because it's ruining their equipment. So we talked about some different options, and one, like the first one being, get some trash cans out there, and between him checking on things once a week, Beth and I like to go to the beach, so we said that there was not a problem. I can switch it up and go there instead, and I can check trash if we have to get it out of there. I get we'll be in the same spot we are here, where the public can use it for their personal.
But you can get lids to prevent that.
Well, and we gotta do something, because with people shoving
Small
it,
shove, I mean,
Uh-huh.
you
Yeah.
can't shove their
A whole
bag of garbage in it.
which is what he gave us options for, to make, and it was heavy ones. I said I didn't want it to be something where someone could walk off with a trash can. Well, I'm hoping. So that was the first, like, okay, if we did trash cans there for people to put their trash in, and then hopefully they won't shove it down the toilet. But then the other thing that we talked about as a possibility is he said that the bathroom itself is just gross. I did go check it out. I have to admit, I've never been to that park before. I usually go up the road and we walk the trail. So his suggestion, because it is so just, it's old and gross, and then it's hard to clean because it's wood, was removing the building, filling in the hole with cement, and doing a porta-john. And we can get an ADA compliant porta-john. The company comes out once a week to empty it, they clean it, and they keep it looking nice. Versus the bathroom.
That's a great idea. Just have it there seasonally.
I thought we were gonna need anything for Donna.
What?
What, the toilet?
Donna.
Yeah, remember we had at your service that when we were working on the park, they came out and they can bring out ADA really big ones.
Yeah.
And then they come every week and they clean it and they put toilet paper in it.
Yeah,
They just hose the entire thing down.
Yeah.
The standard, I get them for job sites, they're $140 for a regular one, a month. They do come weekly, but don't expect magic wands. I mean, their drivers are, I can't imagine even having that job, so the last thing they want to do is spend any more time in it. And I've had to call multiple times saying,
It's full.
we're not even abusing these, and it's awful. You guys haven't done anything, and they'll talk to the driver, and he'll come back, and so just be aware that I imagine the bigger John is going to be more money, and
More mess.
and the mess, and Brian's not taking care of it, but the drivers are, they're not always fresh.
We've been really happy with Gamosiers. So I'd call a couple places. Gamosiers, they do our market and our farm, and they do a really nice job.
Well, we had at your service out at the Atwood Cemetery last year when the crew was out there working because they needed facility. And I think it was $150 for the month.
Mm-hmm, yeah. So, yeah, we should get a couple quotes and decide.
How do you spell that?
Gmoser. I can give you the contact, I've got it. We used to have that at your service too for years, but we like Gamosiers a lot better.
We're experiencing
Where
the
are
same
they?
problems that.
We've had a lot, yeah. They were pretty unreliable. I felt bad. Person running,
Where's the
owner operator.
Gamosiers out of? Where?
Elk Rapids.
Okay.
But they go all over. I mean, they're at our place already, so not that far.
An offset to the cost is that Brian, I think, charges us extra when it's that bad.
He does.
And I don't blame him one bit.
He probably doesn't have the tools to go in and spray it on his truck. So if they have a lumber
Well,
truck.
it's
There's
more
still-
getting the
is
garbage
there
out
still
of
a
the
sign out there
toilet.
saying the cameras are?
Mhm.
It hasn't.
Mhm.
I mean, we don't have cameras out there, but
Right.
when we put that sign out
Oh.
there, it stopped the.
If no one's ever been held accountable, then the
Yeah.
word doesn't get around, because America sign
There's no
up,
sign, yeah, there's no cameras over
one
there.
or two people,
Yeah, it doesn't take long.
then no.
Well, years ago, the problem we had with trash cans was the locals, you know, they'd come up for the weekend and then they'd leave their trash at the park. And Pete Van Raar, he was the kind of the custodian out there, and he would go through the garbage and find an address and a name, and he'd pick it up and he'd put it back on their porch, you know? And that's why we got rid of the trash cans, cause Pete just had a fit about it, so. And it was a terrible mess.
It always hits us.
It is tough, I can't imagine though having
No,
the park without
that
a
took me a minute, no.
I know.
can.
I know, it's really
No,
hard.
it's gross.
I think people are more accustomed though to packing it out now than they used to be years ago too. You know, you bring stuff into a park, you pack it out, take it out.
Not unless you're the people bringing it there to get rid of it.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, that's not, I don't think you have people using the facilities, love it out there, everyone that uses that place talks about, oh, what a beautiful beach. You never been there? Great, huh?
It is very pretty. I was,
Oh, yeah.
It's a great spot.
But the people that have abused it always aren't, they're not there using it.
Right.
They're using it for.
pooping on the
Abusing
floor.
it.
Who poops on the floor
Yeah,
somewhere?
I mean, come on.
So humans are amazed what they do in those things.
Well, we used to have a problem with
Alright.
people's dogs making messes, so
Someone
maybe a
get a can.
garbage can will help with the dog mess too.
He said that. He said that people were picking up their dog poop and putting it in the bags and then leaving it next to the bathroom.
Next to the bathroom,
Yeah.
yeah.
Why
I've
not just
seen
leave
that.
it on the ground if you're gonna like?
Just compost it versus putting it in a
Yes,
plastic
why did you put
bag.
it in a plastic bag and then put it next? Like it's gross. It's all gross.
You
I want to get him a trash can. I like this one.
Which one?
I'd be probably
Yep,
more
that's the
in
one,
favor of
Super
that.
Saver. Yep, y'all like this one?
And then he's gonna empty it, Brian's gonna
Yep.
empty it, and what's he
Does the
gonna
Super
do
Saver
with it?
have a locked lid?
He's gonna bring it here.
To the unlocked garbage can.
I don't know. Does it have a
Yeah,
lid?
no,
Does
he
it
needs
have
a
a
key.
lock?
Well, no,
The
he
Super
doesn't.
Saver. Can you lock the lid? I don't know. Is that something that we can?
You can always put a little cable on there and lock it.
Brian's
Yeah.
a fabricator.
Yeah, he's a
Yeah,
welder.
I can
He
tell him-
definitely do it.
I can tell him one
Putting
lock
a trash
on
can
it.
out
can
there
just add-
without
he can
some
just
sort
add
of
that.
secured
Yeah.
lid on that,
Yep.
you're gonna have
I agree, yeah, I agree with you. It needs to be
bigger
Throw
problems
throw
than
this
the dumpster
picture
here.
away.
I've been in almost every outhouse from Sheboygan to Northport. They all have a turd on the floor.
I just don't get it.
What's the phrase? It happens. It happens.
All right, so
Alright.
you're making a motion to
Yes.
buy one of those
Yeah. The first motion is to buy one of these.
for $439, a Super Saver,
Yep.
and have them modify it so that it will be lockable.
Yes.
Okay.
And can't be tipped over.
Yeah, you have to
Yes.
bolt it to the concrete.
And what color? Green or brown?
I would say green.
What's it made out of?
Metal.
Metal?
It's a metal
Recycled.
mesh, yeah.
Some good, high quality conversations.
Well,
Goes with the job, right?
somebody's gotta talk about it.
Down to,
Yeah, we are.
So are we deciding to get rid of the existing bathroom out there too?
Not yet.
I'll get prices from.
Okay, Porta John Company.
That is, a vault or
Yeah, that's what he said.
septic vault or something, yeah.
He thought that he could fill it in with cement.
Why not?
I
I
think,
want
Take it
to
out.
see how your porta potty.
Yeah, see how it works out. You know,
And if they're throwing their trash in that hole, and those guys can't suck it out, they might not stay there very long.
My hope is with the trash can, if we have trash cans, that people would stop throwing it.
You're asking an
know.
awful lot.
I know. It's the same people I'm asking to not poop on the floor of the bathroom, so.
I'll support your motion to do that.
Thank you.
I wouldn't cover that up or take it out just yet.
Good point.
Okay.
All right,
there's a motion to buy the $439 one, and have, Brian modify it so that it can be shut or locked closed, and, he's gonna empty it.
Yep.
Maybe you will, I don't know, whatever.
It'll get emptied.
Yeah, okay. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Now you're gonna go look for quotes.
For the bat, yep.
Maybe we could try putting one out there and just locking the thing, locking the vault
Existing one, yeah.
to see how it goes for a summer
We could. I'll get prices.
before we level the thing. Yeah.
That is probably a job. for
People will be like, why does this stupid government got this door shut?
Actually, not that uncommon. It's not that uncommon. I've seen lots of places locked up with,
Yeah.
probably for the same reason.
Probably for the same reason, yep. Okay. All right, moving on to the next thing then, the township website. I'd like to improve our website. I think it needs some updating. I think there's a lot of things we can do with it to improve communication with the public and also make it easier for them to communicate with us. I talked to GoDaddy. I would back up a step. I went through the process of getting the legal ownership of bankstownship.gov. I just haven't paid for it, so, but the supervisor of this township has control over that domain if we wanna use it. We can use it and just point it to our current website if we want to. That's an option, or we could use it and make that our actual domain and modify our website and ultimately point bankstownship.net that everyone's familiar with to bankstownship.gov for a year or whatever, and let them know that we got a new street address here, and anyway, so there's that. So then I talked to GoDaddy about hosting and their development fees and what they can do. And they have a one-time, a one-time fee, fixed fee deal for 49 something, just under $5,000 to completely renovate the whole website with us. They walk alongside us. They say, "Here, what do you guys want?" We give it to them. They make up some options, and they say, "Well, how do you like these?" And we can kick it back to them, and they can work with us on that. That includes the first year's support of the website, which is $1,115 a year after the first year, and the hosting itself is in that. It's like $250 a year. I left my notes at home, I'm sorry. But anyway, there's that is included in the $5,000, roughly thereabouts, to set up a new website. You can have email support, or email hosted on there with Microsoft 365 if we need it. For those who do need it, we can set that up and host it through them. I find ProWeb to be a little difficult to work with, especially in the email stuff. We're bumping up against data limits and stuff like that with them that is uncommon, and I don't want us to have to get rid of emails for the sake of saving space so we can get email.
My email maxed out on Friday. So if you sent me an email, if anyone sent me an email or an invoice or anything from Friday afternoon till Monday morning, when I figured it out, anything that would have come through would have bounced back. So ProWeb said I was at the 1 gig of data, and so they added a second, because they said in the plan we have, they could move it. And then your dad, I had to call him and say, clean up your email. You're at your max. Emails are gonna bounce back.
So one option is to just pay them more. That's certainly an option with the email, but again, I think there's some improvement in customer service there that we can get. But I would like to see us develop online forms that people could fill out for They could start out there, start their land division maybe. They can put in their zoning permit applications, they can put in all these things, and they can pay for them on the website, goes straight to our account, and it's all dealt with, and we get a better accounting. I'd like to see the hall rentals run through there with a online calendar, so that you can just say, hey, I wanna have a baby shower on March 13th. Oh, it's taken, I'll look somewhere else, or I can inquire about the upstairs maybe. Doesn't have to say who's renting it, but just that it was taken already. So you don't have, nobody has to waste time figuring that out. They can just look at it in 10 seconds and figure that out. They can digitally sign the rental agreement before they pay the money. I think there's some real potential there to, I think Donna and you were speaking beforehand about which part of this building makes more money, and I think we could get a better accounting through that. Okay, we rented this one X number of days, and I mean, Jan might have that. I'm not saying she doesn't, but I've never seen it. So
the .gov website is a fabulous idea. When Greg was talking about fraud, there was an email that came that was so like our county treasurer. She had to send out an email to all of us township and village treasurers and said, that was not me. It was freaky close to her address, her form. It was scary, like asking for money for the software.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh no, it's not an invoice, but she had to, it was scary close. So I think the .gov, we should all have .gov emails.
We talked about that.
Yeah, it's getting so sophisticated, the fraud, and if people are clicking on links to pay their taxes, whatever, I think the .gov, front page is gonna have a lot more.
Well, there's a lot more security built in.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I think you need to check though too with Schumacher Technologies, I think it's called. Schumacher.
Okay.
And they're one of the preferred providers, I guess, with MTA.
They do
And
municipal
there again,
sites.
they know townships.
Okay.
GoDaddy, I don't believe knows townships.
No, but they know websites.
No,
So
I get that.
That's fine. I'm happy to go talk to them as well.
But, and I don't know if there's any others now that are affiliated with MTA, but I know
there might be.
Schumacher.
Okay.
And
Yeah, I'd be happy to. I'd like to start going down that road of improving the website. So I can definitely talk to Schumacher and get another quote.
And they
if
won't
anybody'd
be
like.
cheap. They won't be cheap,
No.
but none of them are.
Nope, nothing's
Nothing
cheap.
is cheap.
Nothing's cheap anymore.
Yeah,
More and more and more.
Nothing's cheap. Anyway, that's that.
Anybody have any ideas of a local web company?
I don't know any other, I mean, ProWeb is obviously like Traverse City, but I don't know. I like local too, as much as I can do it, but we don't get, I don't feel like we've gotten a lot there for help. I mean, it's
That's
like,
who we have right now?
Yeah,
Okay.
ProWeb Marketing out of Traverse City.
My experience with them was they were always willing to help, but we didn't know what we wanted.
Well, that is a challenge.
So
and-
you gotta ask for what you
Yep.
want.
But I don't know what they've got on staff for web developers down there either. They, can change a WordPress page. But I'm looking for something a little bit more high powered than a WordPress page, so.
Well, there's a lot that we can't do either, like even as much as like where the minutes are. When we wanted to add 2025, ProWeb has to do it, or we wanted to add the widget to the page, ProWeb has to do it. Like there's a lot of, we're only allowed to add very little. We have to call them for everything, and you can only get so many phone calls, and you have to start paying extra.
Yeah. So, you guys interested in that at all?
Yeah, there's appetite for it, yeah.
All right, on to the soil extraction ordinance. Marv, I know you sent over a couple of amendments that you'd like to see put into the ordinance. I know Julie would like a little more time to review what was sent by the planning commission. I have no problem pushing this off. We have an ordinance on the books that we can, if somebody wants to apply, they can do that. So, unless somebody wants to push the issue tonight, I'm happy to let it lie for a month. Okay?
That'd be great.
Not hearing anything, so, so we talked about 6 now. Oh, and the last thing I wanted to bring up tonight was that, these chairs, the one Katie's sitting on, has no hydraulics left in it at all. So she's as low to the ground as you can get. Is it, do we have, I think there's a couple of them like that too, that,
Yeah, there is.
I mean, the rest of us have 4 good working ones, but do we want to see about getting somebody to give us a quote for repairing them? I hate sitting in that chair, so I imagine there are others that don't like sitting in it either.
Yeah, they need to be repaired.
Yeah, that's what
I mean, if it's too expensive to repair, we gotta always think that we can, maybe can't match them perfect, but close enough to get the job done.
Right.
How many are there? Are there any in that office?
I think there's 2 left in there and there's 3 in there. There's 3 in
I
there.
don't know how many need repair.
But I'm just saying, should they just
They
do
all
one
need
over?
service, they all need.
I'm sure they all need some work.
Because we might get another 4 years out of them.
Yeah.
If they all get just a once over.
Mm-hmm. Yep, fix a few parts. Okay, I'll see if I can get a quote on, for somebody.
I don't remember where we got those.
You're the only one here.
Yeah, you were the only one here. Donna. You don't remember, it's lost.
Traverse City.
Okay, I'll open it up for public comment again tonight. All right, hearing none. Any board comment tonight?
I do,
Yes,
yeah.
ma'am.
Richard, you were asking after, you were asking about like wages, where we got our wage information. So like every few years, I would do this spreadsheet, basically called every single township in Antrim County. And I did go on and the townships, some townships I couldn't really get the information to see what their salaries were for like the current year. Got Echo, Torch Lake, Mansalona, Milton Township, trying to look at like townships. Some townships don't have zoning, they don't have fire departments, they have small population. Some elected officials are paid, they have pensions and things like that. And I will give these to you to see what they are, we're right in line. One thing I think we're doing, we're not paying our supervisor enough. He didn't pay me to say that, but our supervisor is underpaid. So if you guys want me to read these numbers, you wanna look at them, that's fine. You wanna see them?
Happy to.
And
Yes. Can you
like for fire wages too, I haven't done the survey for that. And I can do it again for next year if the board thinks it's gonna be useful. It's very time consuming, so I don't wanna do it if we're not gonna use information.
Oh, it's good info to
But
have.
if we wanted, cause 2021's the last time I did this 5
Okay.
months. Do you wanna see it? I'll take it. You can
Yeah.
have it.
Okay, thanks.
Fire starter when you're done with it, I don't need that.
Probably having it compiled into something like this would be nice.
Yeah, and I can
Maybe.
contact the townships again
Okay.
so we
Okay.
have it before January, February,
Yeah.
see where we are with wages for fire, board officials. But those were those 4 or 5 minutes within
Okay.
the last, from the same fiscal year, so.
Thank you.
Wonderful. All right. Well, then with that, if nobody else has a comment, I will adjourn the meeting. Thank you all for coming, sticking around, those who did.
Oh my God.
Really?